This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Monday, the 11th of November, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. As the country continues to grapple with Forex challenges, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, said on Friday that Trinidad and Tobago's foreign exchange restrictions are inconsistent with the fund's Articles of Agreement. The Washington-based DC lender of last resort is seeking to persuade the country to end restrictions. The IMF noted under Article 8, Section 2A of the fund's Article of Agreement, no member of the fund shall, without the approval of the fund, impose restrictions on making payments and transfers to current international transactions. The IMF noted TNT's exchange restrictions are identified and assessed in Article 4 consultation staff reports. The statement said while such exchange restrictions are inconsistent with the fund's articles, the fund has followed a cooperative approach, encouraging members to eliminate such measures, including through surveillance and technical assistance. Meanwhile, in response, Finance Minister Colin insists the government has maintained its fixed foreign exchange regime to control inflation. Minister Imber indicated the IMF's call for greater exchange rate flexibility is not new and was first made back in 2012. He said the IMF 2013 Article 4 report on TNT, the fund reiterated the view our exchange rate should be allowed to fluctuate within a rider band. Imber pointed out, however, that the then UNC government told the IMF that they were not contemplating changes to the exchange rate system at that time. The finance minister pointed out the People's National Movement has consistently stated since 2015 it maintains the country's fixed exchange rate to control inflation. Imber stressed a devaluation and the floating currency rate will cause massive spikes in the cost of living and make everything more expensive. He said it will not create any additional US dollars in the country or make Forex more readily available to ordinary citizens. Police Commissioner Earl Harewood Christopher has made a strong statement in response to criminals shooting at officers, saying, quote, "I want to assure you, when officers are shot at, they'll be shooting back. We intend on taking back this land," end quote. The commissioner was speaking at the funeral service of Police Constable Krishna Banahar over the weekend. Banahar, 25, was shot multiple times during a police exercise at a house in Guanapo on Wednesday. Civilian Hakeem Joseph was also shot and killed. A 35-year-old man has since been detained by police and is being questioned in connection with the incident. And the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service arrested 17 people and destroyed more than 4,000 marijuana trees after they seized $9 million in cocaine. The arrests began on November 7th when officers received information on two cars that were said to be transporting the drugs. They assembled a team and intercepted both cars at the Islam Hochroy Highway near Grand Bazaar. Officers searched the cars, a Toyota Corolla and Nissan Bluebird Siffy, and found a black plastic bag in the trunk of the Corolla. The bag contained 12 packets of cocaine, hydrochloride, a drug which is also used to make local anesthetic in some medical procedures. The drug weighed 13.8 kilograms and have an estimated trade value of $19,236,096. 3 teenagers were shot and injured during a shootout along Ariapita Avenue in Woodbrook yesterday morning. The trio, 1 man and 2 women, all ages 17, sustained non-life-threatening injuries during the incident at the corner of Alberto Street and Ariapita Avenue around 6:05 a.m. The 3 were reportedly liming at a nearby club and bar when a gunman reportedly opened fire on them at the side of the road. The male victim was reportedly shot in the buttocks, while one of the women was shot in the right ankle and the second sustained a graze on the right shin. A motive remains unclear. The woman and the man were taken to the St. James Infirmary and then the Port of Spain General Hospital. A planned juvenile birthday bash that was to take place at the Beetham Gardens yesterday into this morning failed to materialize after the court revoked licenses previously granted. Out of concern by police, the event posed a threat to public safety and security. A magistrate recalled the occasional band dancehall licenses on Friday. The event was called Fun Stuff, was to take place throughout yesterday and ended at 3 a.m. today. It was held in celebration of the birthdays of Ansel Prezi Velafana. Velafana, who also goes by the name Chemist, had been charged in the past along with others under the Anti-Gang Act. He was never convicted. Had the event been allowed to proceed, it would have required the strength of 146 police officers at a cost of $175 In news of the region, the Caribbean Association of Fire Chiefs has partnered with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and the World Hope International to create a more effective search and rescue program in the region. The announcement made at the launch of the search and rescue training exercise conducted at the Barbados Fire Academy in Archroy, St. Thomas earlier this week. And finally, the ultimate outcome of the U.S. midterm remains unclear nearly 2 days after the polls closed, with control of the Congress still hanging in the balance. Control of the Senate now hinges on the outcome of 3 states, Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia, where runoff elections will be held on December 6th. Meanwhile, the Republicans are inching closer to a 218-seat majority in the House of Representatives. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good Monday morning to you.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Thou. It is 11/11/24. It is the 11th day of November 2024. You know what that means 44 days to Christmas. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. We just heard from Paul Richards. We'll hear from Wendell Stephen. Richard finished up his play last night, so he won't be in, but we got Ruben and Shane in the mix. And of course, my name is Steve Khan. 26 degrees on our twin island republic. Yeah, both Tobago, Crown Point, Tobago, and Piarco International Airport. They're at 26 degrees. All right. The Met Office is saying, well, they said yesterday, today is going to be fair conditions, would be interrupted at times at late morning to afternoon, light to moderate showers near but not confined to hilly areas. There's a 40 to 60% chance some of these showers could become heavy and or thundery. All right, so there you go. Quickly, let's see if we have anything to tell you about on the highways and the byways. Nah, nothing to tell you about that will obstruct you from your destination. Morning to you, Paul.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Wendell. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Wendell.
Morning, gentlemen, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It's an absolutely beautiful Monday morning in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is Veterans Day in the U.S. today.
Oh yes. We celebrated our Remembrance Day yesterday with a wreath-laying ceremony at the Cenotaph Memorial Park. I passed and saw the happenings. You know, there was a time that I attended that.
Yeah. Of course, today
Sorry?
They said it wasn't that well attended this year at all for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Of course, today the desalination plant in Point Lisas will be shut down for annual maintenance. So those in Central and South Trinidad, you're going to have your water woes for sure, but you can always call for a truck-borne water supply. All right? So just a reminder, today is the start of a shutdown, today till the 17th.
I think that's a regular thing around this time of the year, isn't it? The desal plant. If I'm not mistaken. It always happens just before Christmas, the Christmas season.
Excuse me.
I can't remember what I did yesterday. You're going to ask me to remember a year ago.
Anyway, let me get my birthday greetings out of the way. Dario, Joseph, Nelicia Yates. Happy birthday, Nelicia. I hope you're listening. Nicholas Howard. Kyle Jaden Pereira, Sharifa Mohammed, Martina Bailey, and Kenya Cordner, who played national football team, women's football team. Anthony Hector, a regular blogger from Tobago. He is also celebrating his birthday today. All right. So, to you all, and for those who would have celebrated over the last few days, including yesterday, Alderman Wade Coker. I forget the message, Wade, yes. But belated happy birthday to you, Wade Coker, and to everyone else who celebrated their birthdays over the weekend. All right.
Leslie Ann Levine celebrated her birthday on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So happy belated birthday to Leslie Ann Levine, my good friend Prakash, Patrick Grell Jr. also, and my good friend Brenda Pakira from Scratch and Sniff Pet Supplies, Pet Shop. Happy belated birthday to you guys. You guys had a great one. And Leo Ramke soon celebrated his birthday yesterday as well.
Did you say Scotch and Sniff?
Scratch and Sniff. You want the
Scotch
Pet Shop
and
right
Sniff.
next to Hot Shop.
That's an interesting name.
Yeah, the one right next to Hot Shop.
Ah,
Yeah, good friend of mine.
okay.
And of course, a big birthday tomorrow, boy. Piggy Lou.
Yes, I know. We limed Saturday in Bush Lime. Ooh, Bush Lime was off the chart on Saturday. Way. Friends of Diego Martin West, in other words, friends of Dr. Rowley's constituency, they normally have this annual thing. They had postponed it from June and they held it on Saturday down at UPIC in Chaguaramas. Brother man, whoa! I don't know anybody. If I was there, I wouldn't have seen you. First it had people. And it had just about everybody there.
What is it for? Raising funds?
It's a fundraiser, yes, for the constituency, of Diego Martin West. It's probably more.
What did they raise the funds
fundraisers? Huh?
What are the funds being raised to do?
I don't know. I'm not part of Diego Martin West, so I don't know what they do with it. Okay. But it's probably one of the
war chest.
I guess so. It's probably one of the bigger fundraising events. Huh?
They actually need a war chest there.
Well, yeah, every constituency need a war chest.
Really?
I would imagine. But that is like one of the premier events. I don't know why they don't just make it an all-inclusive event. You know, it's a cooler event. So you bring your cooler and you get food. You get they had Creole food, they had curry, they had all different types of things. I had the okra rice and pigtail. But it really was a fantastic event. Last year we were there also and had a lot of rain last year. But this year, even though the day Saturday was a very gloomy day, rain didn't fall, you know. So it was nice. It was a nice event.
So they didn't revoke your license for that?
Revoke license for that? That is a bacchanal, eh? Look at TGPS is the greatest, you know. First to begin with, if the receipt is legitimate, you take demand funds. You agree to send how much ever police superintendent, assistant superintendent, sergeant, corporal, 100 constables. You agree to do all that, and then you object it?
Not 100. 146.
Right, 100 PCs, 100 constables. The others made up the different
cost of $174,000. I'm gonna do some maths there. I'm gonna see how much.
That's the party they wanted to have any beat them.
Yeah, Prezi party. Prezi, I always hear about this Prezi. If Prezi walk in front of me now, I wouldn't even know who he is.
Wow. Wow. 146.
$1,191 per officer, generally, on average.
And they get that in cash, the night of the event, You know that's how they pay extra duty, right? Extra duty is paid in cash.
It is?
Yes.
You mean that extra duty?
Well, extra duty on the whole, because police do endless different things and call it extra.
That's my point. That's why I said that extra duty. I'm sure some extra duties are off the books. Just saying.
Once a promoter comes in and pays, it's paid in cash. The officers get the cash at the end of the night.
Okay.
Yes, sir?
Well, police had a lot of concerns for public safety and security.
But why? If you have 146 officers there, why would there be still a concern for public safety and security? You don't trust your own police?
I'm not in a position to answer that, Mr. Stephen.
I couldn't understand that objection. I could understand an objection to it based on the alleged gang connection and activity. I could understand an objection like that. And as a matter of fact, in the first place, maybe you shouldn't have
So
even
then
taken
why
it.
did you grant the license in the first place?
That's what I'm saying.
Why didn't you offer an objection to the granting of the license in the first occasion?
Yeah.
When you go to
kind
get
of
a bar license or a dancer license for the magistrate, because I've done that in the past, will ask if there are any objections to this.
Yeah.
In open court, not so?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anyone, a neighbor, understand? A neighborhood group, anyone can come and say, listen, this is going to cause undue stress to me and my family. I want it not granted. Anyone, you understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the police certainly have more gravitas in that regard. If they go and say, listen, we don't think this is a good idea because the person was detained for X, Y, and Z before. He was never convicted there, by the way.
No.
So we don't think it's a good idea. And the magistrate will probably say, well, where's the proof of that? And what are you basing this uncertainty? And then you go back a couple days later and offer a petition to have it revoked, and it's revoked. So anyway, Mrs. Harewood Christopher, the Commissioner of Police, says if people shoot at police, the police will be shooting back. Exactly. Yes. Ditto. Check.
Yeah.
No argument there.
That goes without saying.
Yeah. She said we're intent on taking back this land.
So Carl Jack is saying, Carl Jack, who I think may have been a police officer or still is, I'm saying that extra duties are now sent to the officers' bank accounts. Okay. Because I know back in my day it was cash. Well, when I say my day, not my day as a police officer, because I had to have paid for extra duty back then for
So does it mean the $124,000 have to be given back to the individual?
Well, yeah.
Papa.
Yes.
What? Ticket on your tail this weekend. Ticket. Christmas coming in. Ticket. Big ticket.
Again, there was a shooting incident on R. Peter Avenue. And I keep making the point here on the show. Why aren't police focusing on that avenue when there are crowds of people there lining every weekend? Why are people so brazen enough to go with guns on the avenue and shoot at people and get away?
That avenue is so rough now, eh?
To be fair, Wendell, the reason to shoot anybody anywhere.
No, but I speak specifically about the avenue because the avenue, let's face it.
What you're saying. The avenue is a known entertainment spot with people gathering all day, every day, whenever they want to gather.
And the state has put out hundreds of thousands of dollars to ensure that avenue looks and feels aesthetically good. It's nice. Okay? A lot of these stores, a lot of the bars and so on have spent a lot of money in ensuring that their places look good and feel good. And yet still we continue to have these shooting incidents on the avenue.
Good morning, Richard. You see, Steve provided erroneous information earlier on. Richard is here.
But he did say he made
Why you keep saying that? What was the information?
You said Richard was not going to be here because he wrapped his play last night.
You want me to read the message that he sent us? Let me read it for you.
Whether or not
let me read it.
Richard sent it. It proved to be
Richard said at 12:56. Now on my way home, so it may be late. If I make it, I am exhausted. He said if I make it. We all know if he says if I make it,
you were more definitive than if he makes it. That's not what you said.
Oh, come on.
I'm surprised Richard is on.
I'm surprised Richard is on.
And this early.
Richard is a retiree, you know.
I am exhausted.
We should have no work to go to 8 o'clock in the morning.
But I'm exhausted. But but you know when you're not really sleeping that well, so it's like, you know what, I might as well get up and go.
Yeah, you might as well snore on the show.
And go to bed at 8:30.
The police did object to the license being granted earlier on, and they were overruled before the licensing committee, and then they went back to object further. On the basis of gang activity.
This is what you're talking about.
It's Prezzy's birthday bash.
The birthday party on the beaton that they were supposed to have.
All right. I didn't have it. I was just talking about the shooting on the avenue.
Yes.
Yeah, and that would have taken, on Alberta Street. So I'm not so sure. You know, on Alberta Street there are 3 bars.
Yes. You never know which one.
I don't know if it's Alaska.
Well, there are bars everywhere.
No one. But on Alberta Street, there's actually a corner with 3 bars at the corner. You have Frankie's, you have the one next to Frankie's opposite the street, and you have Alaska across the road.
Yes.
So it's always
Here the mayor put a spin.
so
You know where every bar is and the geographic location.
I know that area well.
Apparently.
But still, you know, Wendell, I'm somebody still to answer me as to what the hell is going on with those lights on the avenue. They're all off now consistently.
Okay.
And if they are solar lights, it doesn't make any sense to me. At least some should be on, or some should be struggling if it is that something is going on. They're all off as if a master switch was turned off.
I don't know what's wrong. Because all solar lights can be not working at the same time.
Exactly. And it annoys me because, you know, money was expended. You're beautifying the avenue. All of a sudden, an important component of what you are doing is not working. At least provide an explanation.
Yeah.
You know, at least I must be the only person that annoys. Because
maybe Richard, because they either a shade of pink or they are a blue, right?
A blue purple.
Maybe somebody said that it's confusing them. I'm thinking it's traffic lights or something. I don't know if drivers complain, if there was a complaint about the reflection.
What drivers can make? We are all drivers.
You know, Richard, I try to make sense of it.
It is annoying. It's annoying because you're trying to beautify a place, and all of a sudden you're giving a perfect example of why things don't work in Trinidad. Lack of maintenance, lack of caring, lack of I am bothering. You know, it's annoying.
Yeah. And you could name quite a few. The Woodford Square fountain, the fountains down by the Parliament.
That's still down?
By Government Plaza. You could name so many different things that we tried our best to beautify this place with, and it has fallen flat.
The fountain in the middle of Woodford Square is down? It's not working?
So long?
But last time I passed there, repairs were going on.
When?
And I was like, over a year.
It's like no care or love for the capital city.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Sadly, and of course, Christmas lights going up across the world in main cities across the world. Port of Spain, 0. San Fernando, who the hell knows? Arima, 0. All they have is that stupid board up from a Diwali celebration on October 25th. That's still up. Could Arima Borough Council move the damn boards, please?
I hope all you know Richard didn't get no sleep, so you know the kind of mood he coming in here. No, but you're right. You're right, you know, Richard. You see the big production for that tree going up in Rockefeller?
Yes.
Huh?
Or lighting up the nearest main streets on Carnaby Street in London and the other main one. Lighting it up. It's such a time of celebration and making people feel good.
Yeah.
And who needs to feel good more than the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago?
You're right.
None.
No argument.
Arriva Borough Council, waste of time. Port of Spain City Council, waste of time. San Fernando, I don't know.
But Ms. Sampson will call just now.
And she could say waste of time. I can't say waste of time to San Fernando because I'm not down there and I don't know what happened.
No, well, she is convinced they have no mayor down there. Remember, she called last week. She said, "I have no mayor." Wendell, how do we get a mayor?
Oh, God. Hey.
No, but seriously, we're getting us a breaking story, guys. I don't know if you all want to. I don't know. Is it confirmed?
I'm trying to get confirmation on that, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're speaking about.
Is it something wonderful? Is it something wonderful or something negative?
Let me send it for you, Paul. Let me send it. I thought Paul would have had it. Paul, you need to come back in the breakfast group. Right? This thing with sending things all over the place.
What's the incentive?
The incentive is that Richard and Steve will avoid sending porn.
Porn? Porn is good to know better than that. I don't deal with porn. I have never been fascinated with porn.
Oh,
Never.
Lord.
Not my thing.
I'm unaware.
Right in it.
Yeah. So that story came just before we came on air this morning. We don't know how true it is.
Yeah, I don't know how true that story is. So
Positive news or negative news?
What's the group chat now, Richard?
Why are 17-year-olds liming at 6:05 in the morning on Area Peter Avenue?
Why what?
Why are 17-year-olds liming on Area Peter Avenue in the company of adult men at 6:05 in the morning?
What do you mean?
17-year-old women, I should say, girls.
Oh, okay. They were 17-year-old girls?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's only probably after the incident they check, but who watching them and saying that it's 17 there?
But my issue is not who watching them. My issue is the parents.
Well, where you going now?
Do you know where your children are? Or they buy a bar on Area Peter Avenue, 6 o'clock in the morning. Knock yourself out. Good parents. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And
for example, look at this. An elderly woman had to be about, I would average about over 70. Came into the Pet Butler on Saturday, just before lunch. I just stepped out for 5 minutes. You know what she did in that 5 minutes when she came in? She stole my Bluetooth speaker.
What?
Went back into the cameras to see, well, maybe it fell. Because I didn't find it anywhere. So we gathered that she stole it. Went back to the cameras, and that's exact. She just came in to steal whatever she could and left. But when I went back, I mean, she's from Prisca Lands up in San Juan. So I found out where she lives, and I found out her name.
So you got
I was all, huh? No, I don't want
to. You got that figure?
No. But I understand this elderly woman. That is all she does. She goes around to business places just stealing stuff. She's famous on Charlotte Street in Port of Spain for stealing stuff. So that, and I'm sure she must be a parent. So a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 18-year-old, whatever it is, could be out. They don't teach
what is going on? Why are you lotto people up in arms?
I am not with that. That was Mr. Alan Campbell was supposed to be our guest this morning. He's the head of the association. And he just called me and told me that he won't be able to make it due to reasons. He's going to call me back after 7.
But what is happening for the edification of the public? Lotto.
I know for a fact that, you see that, let's call it the Bush Playway. Let's call it the Chinese Playway, where it's illegal, but they're at every corner and paying out higher wages than the NLCB.
Well, this has nothing to do with that.
That is one issue.
This has nothing to do with that. That is illegal activity. This is from policy.
No. We see what they're saying is that the authorities are not cracking down on these illegal playway establishments, or bush playway, or call it that. Another one is the dues that are sent to NLCB weekly. You have to do it weekly. If you don't do it weekly, they charge you interest on that. So there are a few issues.
Well, according to the article that came out, they said that from December 1st, there were going to be new rules and policies implemented that the board decided upon. And they said it's going to make things more and more difficult for lotto agents for it to make any sense, for them to have it as a business model.
Okay. And as a NLCB agent, I have not received any documentation regarding that.
Yeah. So that's what they said. From December 1st, it's going to change.
Yeah.
And that's what the arms about, because they're even calling for the removal of the current board.
Yeah. Well, I did speak to Mr. Nancis yesterday, and he categorically denied that he is not coming on the program. But he also said that he was talking to a director. So, I don't know.
Talking to a director about what?
I don't know. He just told me that I only forwarded that director, but I wouldn't be able to come on the program. That's what he said. Then he said, I'll call you back, which he never did.
So anyway, so we'll see if somebody will come on and discuss it.
Yeah.
What's going on with regard to that?
I saw a news article on it last night, I think, on the news, where they spoke to a couple of people, a couple of the NLCB operators.
Yeah,
and they were saying that they were the ones being punished because NLCB is raising. Everything it's raising and it will affect their bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But Steve, that other part of the story that Steve spoke about, that also came out recently too, about all these illegal places that are right next to legitimate NLCB operators and paying out more money and so on, you know?
Yeah, I know that is one issue. And they're at every corner. So, I don't know. We'll try and see if we get onto him or Mr. Dean Prasad still. Hearing from NLCB itself, I'll be like pulling teeth. You know, but, you know, it's kind of disorganized. I, for one, have been asking for... So I signed a contract.
Well, you know, we talking and I forget you're an operator, so you're supposed to know firsthand.
No, I'm not with that association. I'm not with any association. I just run in my little booth. But coming out in the news. But I've been asking for my contract that I've signed continuously. I cannot get it. I cannot get it. NIB has been asking for that contract for them to put it in their records. And I called and I was
signing the contract. People just forget they have a phone now. I just sign a contract, snap it.
It's many pages.
Snap.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna call them today and ask them again for it. Or I'll just go down.
I don't have a copy of a contract you have signed.
Yep, exactly. And I told them that.
But many times places don't, so you have a phone, snap. In fact, phones have scanning functions in their cameras now, so they're scanning it quickly.
Yeah.
But there's so many other little issues, including the payment of this and that, and you don't get any money for it. Very little. I talk about cents and even $1.
You know, unfortunately, lines, I just want to say thank you to all the people who came out this weekend to Love Is a Walk, the final 2 shows of theater for 2024, until we resume in 2025 in January, at the end of January, close to the end of January, in 2025. So theater is now on a recess, so to speak, until next year. So thank you so much. We had
until America Dance 25th anniversary.
We had so much fun this weekend. It was so much fun doing that play. We did all sorts of stuff. I mean, it was 2 really good shows. I mean, great shows. I think audiences on Saturday and Sunday had a fantastic time. And we certainly had so much fun on stage as we closed off the year in theater for 2024. So thank you to patrons, because I know some of you listen to who come to theater throughout the year. It is important to support theater. It's very difficult for theater to get sponsorship, even from state grants and stuff. The amount of hoops you have to jump in, we just don't bother. So you're pretty much on your own there, doing whatever you can do. And the only support, I mean, you get some corporate sponsor support, but and it really depends on who is in charge of the marketing division. Once they change, everything changes. And if they do come to theater and all they go is to is netball, all of a sudden netball will get the sponsorship. You know how it works. That's how it works.
That's exactly how it works.
And so it's really for theater to keep alive. I mean, it's really about audience support. And so we do appreciate it and do not take it for granted. So thank you so much for supporting us throughout 2024. We do appreciate it.
Yeah. It's a little while now. You ain't do a little wine and cheese before a play, Richard.
Sometimes we do. From time to time we do. We don't always do it, but from time to time we do it. And we are thinking of doing America Dance 25th year celebration as our first play in 2025. I'll keep you posted.
Well, plenty people that I head to the gym from now. Because you know that play have a lot of movement.
But you saw somebody move. But you saw somebody move by the party.
Of course I did. Look that. When the peace pencils are right, you know. But I can't wait to see Glenn Davis. I haven't seen him for a little while.
Well, Glenn is good. I mean, now and then he comes to the theater, but I don't know if Glenn might be able to do it because you know he's growing a lot older now.
No, you can't do that play without Glenn, Richard.
So you'll see.
And I see what's his name by you today? Scrappy.
Cracky.
I haven't seen him in a long time too.
Yeah. But he's not from up north, he's from deep south.
Okay.
He's from like that Faizabad area.
Oh.
That down there, that side down there.
Far away.
Yeah.
All right.
Not from up north at all. Yeah, so I suppose we can open up the lines when Steve returns. On this Monday morning, as we zoom towards Christmas.
Yeah. Anderson Matthews, I might assume you're someone from St. James because you're absolutely right about those two police officers. You're absolutely right in your comment earlier on. Two known police officers from St. James Station only comes out to give parking tickets in the evening and head back to the station. Well, I don't know about the last part, to sleep for the rest of the duty. But you're right. They come out 3 o'clock on the dot when people, when there is a restriction on parking on the southern side, between 3 and 6. They come out on the dot. And I see the police also. I say, but wait, some like a raid happening in Woodbrook. You know, when you come up, what street is that when you come up from Arpita to by Fatima there? What is the name of that street again? It's not Taylor. Taylor is the other one.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Right.
I can't remember the name right now.
Yeah, I don't know why it's missed. David West, what is the name of that street when you come from the avenue to Mokorapa Road just before Fatima College there? You're not supposed to make a right turn between certain hours of the day. Well, brother man, they had a battalion of police waiting on the corner, on Taylor Street corner now, the other corner. For when you turn right, they pull you over right in and take it like mad on Friday. If you see people.
Which street is that you're not supposed to turn right?
You're not supposed to turn right onto Mokorapa Road when you come up from that street, you know, between certain hours, you know, Monday to Friday. You're not supposed to make a right turn.
Okay. It's not a street I would usually come up. I know what street you're talking about. You have to turn left.
You have to turn left.
Street by Edo's. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bell-Smythe Street. Thanks, Wendian. Bell-Smythe Street. That's the street.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to make a right turn on from Bell-Smythe Street onto Mokorapa Road. And if you see police there on Friday giving ticket, I say, but wait, be serious? A whole squad of police just for touching your tickets? Nah, man. But people, I don't know, people still get catch with that. Oh God, they have a big sign there. You know,
no right, and we continue to turn right.
And they still
good. Let them get the ticket.
Go around, go further up Arpita Avenue and come around. Come up, what's that? Is Petra?
Well, a lot of people turn in front of Fatima.
Come up David Tie. Come up David Tie.
Yeah. All right, let's open up our lines a little bit. 222-8255, North Americans, 866-525-1099. That's our numbers directly into our studio. We have some calls already. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Wendell, how your brain works fascinates me, you know. You rather think, imagine, assume that is the light giving drivers all kind of bad images, and just to assume that they buy inferior things with inferior battery life, that the solar sun not charging it anymore, and all of them spoil, and according to Richard, we waste our taxpayers' dollars.
Lincoln, I try to find a logical reason as to why all the lights go down.
You're stretching, and you know it's a logical reason. They buy an inferior product with an inferior battery life. That's why what is a logical reason.
Lincoln, all these things coming from China. Listen, Lincoln, all these things coming from China. I have solar lights from China for the last 10 years or more in my yard, and they never fail. I never even change the battery.
And guess what? The government buy it. You buy it.
But Lincoln, how all of them, if they're all
because they bought 10 something that was in storage for 15 years, and when they buy it, they last as long as you're on fire. The same thing happened with the police body cameras that they said the battery life not good in it because they had it packed up for how long. We gotta watch history and know what's going to happen, and know what is the problem, This same thing happened with the
Lincoln, a lot of us have also extensively traveled. I've never seen that type of solar light anywhere where I've traveled.
Correct.
That one on the avenue.
Correct. It is a dated old thing. That is the only thing. Another problem, fortunately, I was on the avenue this week here, and another thing that I'm seeing is on the new red, nice thing sidewalk that they put, in front of every staircase, everybody business place where you're first stepping down, all of them crack up right there. Where you're first stepping down onto the sidewalk, and all of them mash up right there. So I don't know if fixing and touching up is a part of the contract, but that's the problem with it.
Yeah, they have a lot of broken places. I think people were
slipping
in some areas. So it looks like some people deliberately broke up where people might have been slipping.
I think it's just high traffic. I think it's just high traffic that every time people stepping down there all the time, it would eventually break up, right? Another thing I saw on the avenue, last time I was there a couple months ago, I saw police on the avenue, but I saw 18 police all standing up outside one bar. Not two police stretched 100 feet apart along the whole stretch of the RP's Avenue. I checked 18 police officers plain clothes with the police vest and bulletproof vest on, and who in plain clothes and who in this and who in that, all outside the bar there by the one after
Lincoln. They were there for the briefing. Oh gosh, they spread out after.
That is not Wendell. No, they were standing, looking at the bar and paying attention to all the patrons at that bar. And it's something that annoys me every time I see it. You see it with traffic wardens, you see it with police, you see it with all these people who are supposed to be controlling law and order. All of them gather in one area and leave the whole rest of the city unattended because I don't know, like it's a gang thing, it's a lime. I don't know what it is.
But it must have been Edie. Must have been Edie. You know what? Not erectile dysfunction I'm talking about. It must have been Edie.
You know where I saw that particularly peeved me? Carnival and Tobago. I saw this lady, the DCP, Susan Martin. Susan Martin walking down the street. It's something I first saw when Gary Griffith was commissioner. And I saw Susan Martin walking down the street, I guess making her presence felt in Tobago. 4 garden emergency officers on her flank. So there is 4 of them on the both sides of her. And then 10 walking in the back of both sides of them. So she have about 25 to 30 officers escorting her, all armed, heavily armed. And she walking on the road like a queen, like a princess. And I'm saying, why these 25 officers not staggered around Tobago instead of walking with the commissioner? What does that say?
But that's how they do it all the time, Lincoln. Every year when the commissioner walks,
as I said,
they walk with a show of force.
and it doesn't give me any confidence. It shows me that they need to be protected more than me. That's all I'm saying. Right?
I think
That
it's just a show of force thing. I don't know why they do it, but it's a show of force thing, I guess.
And that is all I'm saying. It doesn't give me confidence. Where I can't get a FUL to protect myself. But when you feel you need to walk, you have 15 people with heavily armed guns escorting you. And you're the commissioner of police. That is that's how it resonates with me. It doesn't give me confidence.
Right?
I don't know how if other people feel about it, but I don't. It doesn't resonate good with me at all. Right?
Yeah. All right.
How about the gentlemen?
Gary Griffith did it. McDonald Jacob did it. Ola Christopher do it. I mean, all of them do it when they walking through. I mean, I would have had to welcome them when they came downtown for Carnival. It's more police. There are more police walking than some people have in a band. But I didn't think anything of it. I just say it's a show of force, yes.
All right, gentlemen, it's time to get in the headlines for our newspapers, the dailies.
Let Paul use his best down under accent there for us.
Yeah, I don't have any all I have is the Guardian.
I feel Lincoln
Paul, you could safely boast to people now you've been down under.
It wasn't the first time, and it won't be the last.
Figured. No, but you actually went down under.
I've actually been down under before. So, anyway, good morning, everyone. It's now 5:47. I feel Lincoln gets up in the morning and say, I think he have a police uniform hanging in the room, and he's watching and say, what could complain about again today?
Some policewoman game Santa Banca.
I don't think it's a policewoman, I think.
And don't you say that about me?
I think it's officer of the law putting through some sort of discomfort. Anyway, Express, November 11th, Imber, no devaluation. I saw the minister put out quite a long missive. You realize this forex thing is heating up in the country with no end in sight, eh?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
It is heating up. It is becoming front page news almost in equal as prominence to crime. And no matter what Minister Imber says, people are not just sitting down and taking it anymore. No. Particularly after, is it RBC? Which one announced the recent?
Scotiabank recently went from 6,000 to 2,000.
And RBC went from 41,000 TT to 14,000 TT in equivalent US. That is really just 2,000. There's over 2,000 US. You get it.
Minister Imber says no devaluation, and a back and forth between what the IMF is suggested and what the government policy is. Scotland, Lavington is a place of hope, progress, and great things. Agents upset with NLCB. Marking Remembrance Day. Police Commissioner earlier here what Christopher says, when officers are shot at, they will be shooting back. Fun stopped, court revokes licenses for Beat and Bash. And Kamala slams judiciary hypocrisy. Richard?
All right, so I will start with it. Well, not start. I'll do the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian today. Of course, today is November 11th, 2024. And the main headline on the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian this morning is Imber rejects IMF call. Government to maintain forex restrictions on international transactions. Bracing for water shutdown. That's another story. Akhil Lewis carries a 5-gallon bottle of water from Diamond Liquor Mart and Supermarket in Diamond Village as he prepares for the upcoming 1-week shutdown starting today from the Salka. And Scotland, don't take extortion threats into your own hands. Of course, this is the front page stories in the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. And on the back page, Windies go down 2-0. And of course, this is the West Indies. Evan Lewis plays a shot against England during the second T20 international cricket match at Kensington Oval in Bridgetown, Barbados yesterday. The regional side suffered a 7-wicket loss to go down 2-0 in the 5-match T20I series. And that's the main story in sports. So now you know. Back to you, Paul.
Let's go to the news day now. Minister of Finance rejects claims of IMX Forex caution. Public enjoys Remembrance Day parade in Port of Spain. Cops make $19 million cocaine bust. Arrest 17 during busy weekend. Chaguanas Mayor, government not serious about stopping extortion. JSC meets on Auditor General report on November 13th. Police stumble on 4,000 marijuana trees while chasing a Repo residents. 3 teens shot on Ariapita Avenue. And prison officer among 3 arrested in $19 million cocaine seizure. So those are trending stories in your Express, Guardian, and Newsday for today, Monday, the 11th of November, 2024.
How do you stumble upon 4,000 marijuana trees while running on somebody? In a repo of all places. I say, I don't know, TTPS like this just come up with all these things sometimes to just make people get angry, yes? Because up to now, the intelligence of that cache of arms that was found in the forest where they were monitoring it for a period. Whatever become of that? Eh?
What is that?
The cache of arms that they found in the forest the time where they were monitoring this thing. And eventually they got the arms and nobody. Whatever become of that story?
Who knows?
The biggest room in police admin building has been set aside for unsolved cases. So the suggested question this morning, given the number of stories and headlines on Minister Imber's missive regarding the IMF suggestion about a floating currency, and the minister has maintained that the PNM has said they will not be floating any currency, and apparently it was the UNC's position in 2013.
Well, they'll not be devaluing because the currency is floated now. Well, but they will not be devaluing.
The issue is not whether it's be devalued. The issue is if it's floated, it will devalue. The value will change related to market forces.
Well, but I think what the IMF is suggesting is that it be allowed to float,
right?
In a wider band.
So you
can have a band, but make it wider. I think that's what it is.
So the suggested question is, should the TNT dollar be floating within market forces and not a fixed exchange rate? Is that okay?
Yeah.
I would have just asked, should it be devalued? Because that's what people told him for.
The proposition is not to devalue. The proposition is to float. So let's be accurate.
All right.
All right. While Paul types that up, let me give you the results of our poll where we asked you on Friday. Do you believe that mass deportation will actually take place under a Trump presidency? The man in charge of that now is the former head of ICE to deal with that. That's who Trump has appointed.
Did you all see that video of Trump's attorney talking about the Attorney General of New York?
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow.
All right. So our poll, the results. Do you believe that mass deportation will actually take place under a Trump presidency? 71%, 71 said yes. All right. Right. So let's get into this morning's poll. Should the Trinidad and Tobago dollar be floating within market forces and not a fixed exchange rate? That is our poll this morning. All right.
So 222 talk 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099. That's absolutely toll free. Of course, people on the streaming platforms, you can send your votes and comments via the messaging portals there. And if you're watching us on M&E TV and of course listening to us on smart devices, you can WhatsApp us at 318-1021. Of course, you can put the 868 before it. And of course, I don't know if Ruben or Paul could put up the numbers on the ticker tape so we don't have to constantly repeat it. So some people could see.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right, we have our call. Good morning.
Which I just
and you shall
Save
receive.
that question till Ollie brings somebody to explain that thing properly to us. May I understand what it will do?
we just did explain it.
We just explained it.
She ain't nothing for a week and a half, so she's a cranky. But I'm back, see now. I go organize you later.
It'll make important
Good morning.
stuff expensive. Just I suppose that's the simple answer to you.
I'm in agreement with Zena.
Yeah. It'll make imported stuff more expensive. I said that's the simple answer.
Yeah, pretty much. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Please allow me to wish my granddaughter, Aurel Gomes, happy birthday today out in Kansas City, Missouri. My answer is yes.
All right. Thank you.
Presently, the state injects a certain amount of forex into the system to manage the rate between X and Y, so it doesn't dive to like $4 to $1 or $12 to $1, I should say, or $10 to $1. That's what happens presently. The IMF is suggesting you remove those parameters and let the market forces take care of where the exchange rate is. That's what's happening now.
Let it float wherever it goes.
Wherever the market forces sends it.
Well, they're not saying that you necessarily have to let it float wherever it goes. They say it could also widen the bandwidth.
Or you could loosen the bandwidth in which the states inject.
It's allowed to float. Allowed to float.
Right.
So you could say, well, okay, we will accept between 12 and a maximum of $12 or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen. I'm not trying to change the topic, but that results to that election in the US.
Yeah,
I am expecting.
Right now, we're not dealing with that still.
Yeah.
Because you are changing.
But that was clever though. I'm not trying to change the topic, but change it. That was clever.
Call back after 7, considering.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. That would only cause the currency rate, exchange rate to increase. So my answer to that would be no.
All right.
All right.
Somebody says no. Wayne Lala says no. Rennie Devines, aka Strong, says yes. Gregory Bauer says no to the poll. Yeah, a lot of people are not. Let's see. Somebody else says no. Captain Ron, who's in Santa Barbara, California, says no. Captain Ron, United Airlines took off last night, flew for a long time, then returned to Trinidad, and the flight is canceled. Why? Yeah, it took off and it came back. Clearly, they had an issue.
Why would you know that?
It's canceled. Sorry?
Why would you know that?
I had a friend going to Las Vegas, and they were using Houston, and he sent me a message.
Steve knows about planes, weather, and dogs. You can trust Steve to know about planes, the weather, and dogs. And
cats
all
as
the
well.
time.
And some birds. Cascade St. Han says yes. Jaron says yes. Good morning. Good morning, caller. What's your poll?
Thanks for a little clearer explanation. Well, now I could say no. And Mr. Paul, you detox there. It happened just so you have to detox.
Oh,
God.
As you said, did I tell you, Zena, that I was propositioned by an elderly lady in Sydney if I wanted to come and spend the weekend with her? She says, I'm very wealthy, you know.
Keyword there is elderly. You didn't go for that.
Elderly said it. Anyway, I'm not going there. Slick money.
Is that why you're still there?
Richard, that has been Richard's dream on this morning show for the last whatever years. An old white woman to take care of him. You get it and you refuse it. You mad, yes?
So. Publicly said so.
You mad.
She was
Slick Money Grip says yes. Let me go through quickly before Evie comes in. Slick Money Grip says yes. Facebook user says no. David Wares says yes. And good morning, Mrs. Wares. Alistair Hart says no. Michael Cooper. Morning, Michael Cooper. Says yes.
It was a very expensive workshop, and she was saying, try it on. It might look good on you.
Oh no, so you cock
So I
up
tried it out, and she said, would you like to have it? I said, yes, but I can't afford it. She says, well, I can buy it for you. Would you like to spend the weekend?
I hearing, boy? Oh, no, so you cock up with and set a little kangaroo and koala running around you. Sipping some Australian beer. But look, that boy, you mad, yes?
She looked quite opulent.
I want to hear you, no?
She said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Trinidad and Tobago." She said, "That's the Caribbean." I said, "Yes." She said,
You all you have to do is bring her down, you take her up.
Wait,
Blanche shares, and you chill out there.
Before we get into news, what did she say, Paul?
She said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Trinidad and Tobago." She said, "From the Caribbean." I said, "Yes, it is." She said,
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
The IMF says TNT's foreign exchange restrictions are not consistent with the fund's articles of agreement. Finance Minister insists government maintained its fixed foreign exchange regime to control inflation. Police Commissioner says when officers are shot at, they will shoot back. Police arrests 17 people, destroys more than 4,000 marijuana trees, and seizes $19 million in cocaine. And a House vote hangs in the balance as Trump appoints a border czar. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintil-Bab. Good morning. As the country continues to grapple with forex challenges, the International Monetary Fund said on Friday that TNT's foreign exchange restrictions are not consistent with the fund's articles of agreement. The Washington, D.C.-based lender of last resort is seeking to persuade this country to end the restrictions. The IMF noted that under Article 8, Section 2A of the fund's Articles of Agreement, no member of the fund shall, without the approval of the fund, impose restrictions on the making of payments and transfers for current international transactions. For example, exchange restrictions. The IMF noted TNT's exchange restrictions are identified and assessed in Article 4 Consultation Staff Reports. As detailed in TNT's 2024 Article 4 Consultation Staff Report, TNT maintains an exchange restriction that was not approved by the fund, according to International Annex of the report. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Colm Imbert insists that the government has maintained its fixed foreign exchange regime to control inflation. Minister Imbert indicated that the IMF's call for greater exchange rate flexibility is not new, as it was made back in 2012. He said in the IMF's 2013 Article 4 report on TNT, the fund reiterated its view that our exchange rate should be allowed to fluctuate within a wider band. However, he pointed out that the then UNC government told the IMF that they were not contemplating changes to the exchange rate system at that time. The finance minister pointed out that the People's National Movement government has consistently stated since 2015 that it maintains this country's fixed exchange rate to control inflation, which is now almost the lowest in the world, and it will not impose hardship on the poor and vulnerable by giving in to the irrational demands of provocateurs that government devalue the dollar. Police Commissioner Erla Hayward Christopher has made a strong statement in response to criminal shooting at officers, saying, quote, "I want to assure you, when officers are shot at, they will be shooting back. We are intent on taking back this land," end quote. The Commissioner of Police was speaking at the funeral service of Police Constable Krishna Banaha over the weekend. 25-year-old Banaha was shot multiple times during a police exercise at a house in Guapo on Wednesday. Civilian Hakim Joseph was also shot and killed. A 35-year-old man has since been detained by police. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service arrested 17 people and destroyed more than 4,000 marijuana trees after they seized $19 million in cocaine. The arrests began on November 7th after officers received information on 2 cars said to be transporting drugs. They assembled a team and intercepted both cars on the Sir Solomon Hochoy Highway near Grand Bazaar. Officers searched the cars, a Toyota Corolla and Nissan Bluebird Sylphy, and found a black plastic bag in the trunk of the Corolla. The bag contained 12 packets of cocaine hydrochloride, a drug which is also used as a local anesthetic in some medical procedures. The drugs, weighing 13.8 kilograms, have an estimated street value of $19,236,096. Police arrested the driver of the Corolla, a prison officer who's currently on suspension. They also held a 19-year-old man and 35-year-old man, both from Faizabad, in connection with the find. 3 teenagers were injured during a shooting along Arapita Avenue, Woodbrook yesterday morning. The trio, one man and 2 women, all aged 17, sustained non-life-threatening injuries during the incident at the corner of Alberto Street and Arapita Avenue around 6:05 a.m. The 3 were reportedly liming in a nearby club bar when a gunman reportedly opened fire on them on the side of the road. The male victim was reportedly shot in the buttocks, while one woman was shot in the right ankle, and the second sustained a graze on the right shin. The motive for the incident remained unclear up to yesterday. The 2 women were taken to the St. James Infirmary, while the man was taken to the Port of Spain General Hospital. The woman was treated, or women rather, were treated and released from hospital yesterday, while the man was treated and warded in stable condition. Investigations are continuing. A planned Juve and birthday bash that was to take place at Beetham Gardens yesterday into this morning failed to materialize after the court revoked licenses previously granted out of concerns by police that the event posed a threat to public safety and security. A magistrate recalled the occasional bar and dancehall licenses on Friday. The event, called Fun Stop, was to take place throughout yesterday and end at 3 a.m. today. It was to be held in celebration of the birthday of Ansel Prezi Villafana. Villafana, who also goes by the name Chemist, had been charged in the past along with others under the Anti-Gang Act. He was never convicted. Had the event been allowed to proceed, it would have required the strength of some 146 police officers at a cost of $174,000. In a media release issued yesterday, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service announced the revocation of the licenses. Lotto and Playway agents are threatening a week-long shutdown countrywide. There are approximately 1,200 agents in Trinidad. Members of the Online Gaming Agents Association of Trinidad and Tobago held a meeting at the Caldrack Hall in Railway Road, California, Point Lisas yesterday to state their displeasure with the new measures being imposed on them by the National Lotteries Board control. The association's president, Dean Prasad, said that agents were sent to a release by NLCB on October 4th with the new measures, which he described as harsh and draconian, and which will take effect on December 1st. He said that the release dealt with the issue of deposits and states that agents are to make their deposits on Mondays by 2 p.m. He explained that, according to the release, failure to make deposits within those stipulations will lead to gaming machines being suppressed or shut down by the NLCB. He said another stipulation, which was confusing by the association, was the one which stated that non-payment is being considered larceny. The association added that NLCB was treated or has treated the agents with disrespect, with scorn, and scant courtesy. They also accused NLCB of bullying them and targeting them now as a source of revenue. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Internationally, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has made 2 more key appointments ahead of his return to the White House in January. 62-year-old Tom Homan will serve as Trump's border czar, having previously served as the returning president, acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. New York Congresswoman 40-year-old Elise Stefanik has also been made ambassador to the United Nations, according to statements given to the New York Post. Meanwhile, Trump's Republican Party is edging closer to full control of the U.S. Congress. They already have a majority in the Senate and need to win just a handful of seats to take the House of Representatives. A party needs 218 seats to win a House majority. The Republicans have 215 compared to the rival Democrats' 210, according to the BBC's U.S. partner CBS News. Control of the House gives a party the power to initiate spending legislation and launch impeachment proceedings against officials. Well, finally, here's the weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, fair conditions would be interrupted at times by late morning to afternoon light to moderate showers near but not confined to hilly areas and western areas. There's a medium chance some of these showers could become heavy and or thundery. Nighttime mostly settled, but for some lingering cloudy periods with some isolated showers. In the vicinity of heavy showers and or thunderstorms, expect gusty winds, street flooding, and some street ponding in areas so prone. Expect a forecast maximum temperature today of 33 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point, Tobago. Currently is 28 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines at 7 o'clock, the IMF says TNT's foreign exchange restrictions are not consistent with the fund's articles of agreement. Finance Minister insists the government maintained its fixed foreign exchange regime to control inflation. Police Commissioner says when officers are shot at, they will shoot back. Police arrest 17 people, destroy more than 4,000 marijuana trees, and seize $19 million in cocaine. And the House vote hangs in the balance as Donald Trump appoints a border czar. I'm Avril Sintel-Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon. An update coming up at 8 o'clock. And for more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. All right. Quickly, let's see if you have any issues to tell you about the highways and the byways. No, just traffic. Yeah. Nothing ready to tell you. San Fernando, you're lighter than usual. Okay. All right. Let's get back into our morning poll. Yeah, where we asked you, should the Trinidad and Tobago dollar be floating within market forces and not a fixed exchange rate? All right. Let's see if we have any votes here. I did beauty culture. Okay, nothing there. On WhatsApp, Val says no. Morning, Val. And Vincent in the UK says no. All right. And that's what I've got so far.
All right. Paul, settle for us a sweetie P&M blanket. You are a chance of a nice life. You good, yes?
Well, only 16 people voted on the poll this morning.
1-6?
Yeah, because I didn't get. I don't know if I missed some of the votes.
Yeah.
But we should let it run a little bit more.
Well, it goes till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, in terms of the 16 votes, if you want me to go with that result, should the TNT dollar be floating within the market forces and not a fixed exchange rate? I see some other votes coming in there now. There's another one.
Anthony Miguel says no.
Right. So we have 10 people saying no and 7 people saying yes. It was kind of running head-to-head.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, people are divided on this topic. Some saying yes, it should be allowed to float within the market forces, and well, according to our poll, more people saying no.
Mm-hmm.
So 18 people saying no. So that's what it is. Those are the results from the morning poll this morning concerning that floating exchange issue.
Mm-hmm.
But it will make things more expensive. It will make travel more expensive. It will make imported goods more expensive. It will make shopping on Amazon more expensive.
Yep.
And
which is why Minister Imbert is adamant that it's not going to happen. He's not going to do it. He's not going to change it. You know.
Well, Minister Imbert is basically saying that it's going to cause so much inflation.
Yeah.
Because prices are going to go up. Because so much things are imported into the country. So.
Yep.
Oh yes, definitely. All right. It is 13 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. Of course, online, we do have Mr. Dean Passad. He's the president of the Online Gaming Association. So good morning to you, Dean. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning. I'm fine. Thank you. And good morning to your listeners and your viewers. I understand you have viewers as well on the other.
Yeah.
On your channel.
Yes. On M&E TV. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we have Richard Ragoobarsingh, Paul Richards, Wendell, Stephen, and myself.
Morning, Mr. Gussain.
All right. So
good morning, gentlemen.
All right.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Passad. I don't know if you can contextualize for us what the main issues are, because we have seen some media reports concerning agents and the NLCB at least it seems to be at the beginning of an impasse in terms of some of the policies and procedures that are supposed to come into place from December 1st. Could you contextualize it for us a little bit, for us and for our listeners?
Sure. First, let me correct you. This is not the beginning of an impasse. This is the continuation of an impasse that we have been having with NLCB, especially since this board came into office in 2018. They have continuously instituted harsh and what I call now draconian measures on agents. The latest now, we come into what you asked there, the latest being a circular sent out dated the 4th of October. But I want to make it clear that they have not sent out this circular to all agents at once, which is very peculiar, which has me thinking, why are they not sending it out? Because when some agents are calling and saying, well, we don't know, we have not received this thing.
I am one of those.
You are okay.
I have.
My thinking, so I am thinking, listen, it has to, in my mind, it has to be, because knowing how they operate at NLCB, I am thinking that they're sending it out in parts just to test the ground, just to test and see what is happening, if anybody will respond to it. And if they don't get any response, they will send it out to another batch of agents and so until they complete the exercise and they send it out to all agents. Because I have in my hand here, the letter is dated the 4th of October. Today is the 11th, 1 month after, and all of the agents have not received this. That is my take on it. I might be wrong, and NLCB will have to respond to that, right? But those of us who got it, there was a cry to have a meeting and for us to address this issue. So, what the policy, it's caption, important policy updates effective December 1st, 2024. The first one is discontinuation of proof of payment. Now, if that in itself, I mean, that is a nonsensical statement, discontinuation of proof of payment. So I didn't even bother to read the rest of it. What they're telling us is that if we don't receive your money at a certain time, your deposit, your weekly settlement deposit, we are not asking you for a proof of payment. We're shutting you down. So I am confused because I now have the onus is on me now to provide a proof of payment if you wish. But they say no. The bank must do that. It must be fully processed by the bank and received by the agent's account by such and such a time, and you must make your deposits before 2 p.m. on a Monday to facilitate that. But that is not happening. People are depositing the Sunday before. Because when you close off on a Saturday, you get a weekly settlement by the Sunday morning. You make up your deposit to do the night save deposit. So you can go on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning once you finish making your deposit and you go and make that deposit. But the banks are still not remitting that funds to NLCB. And then I really don't have any proof of payment because once it's a night save deposit, the bank is not stamping it. There is no over-the-counter deposit. So that is a nonsensical thing to start with, discontinuation of proof of payment. And you're penalizing me for not depositing your money, for the bank not sending your money on time to you.
Yeah, because once you deposit that, it to me, it means that your due is already paid. You put it into the bank, it's out of your hands.
That's right. The only other thing, and I want to ask NLCB, do you want the agents to go down the chute with the money now? Because there's nothing else I can do. I deposit the money even before Monday. I go on a Sunday, I deposit it Monday, right? But added to that, you're telling me 2 p.m. on a Monday. Now you're making me very risky. This is a very risky thing. I need to stagger my hours, and any business person, they don't go about their chores, even normal chores, in a routine sort of way. Nobody does that anymore, at least. So don't tell me that you put in a time frame of me now, Monday morning by 2 p.m. I must make that deposit. So that is harsh for us, right?
Mr. Prasad, stick a pin right there. Stick a pin right there.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to follow this, right? You're saying that you would have you need to. They are telling you now, stop sending them the proof that you made a deposit. Because to do a night bag, you would have had to do a deposit slip and put it in the bag also too, right? So you would have had a copy of that. And I can tell you from my experiences, night bags are never cleared the following day. They're never cleared.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Right? So I'm trying to follow. So what then is the penalty that NLCB is imposing on someone who does not?
Right, so I wanted, this is like you cannot have a sensible conversation with this really, because it's not making sense. You don't know what to really explain here.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me, don't prove to me that you're depositing money. Let the bank prove to me. But the bank is a separate institution. They do that work on their own time. They will clear the money by Friday. You deposit Monday, they clear by Friday. They don't have time with NLCB.
Mm-hmm.
So deal with the bank and NLCB, and the bank needs to sort that out, not us.
Yeah. Let me bring up an example. Just as you said, you get your slip on a Sunday morning. So I did my deposit last week, Monday. I tried to go before 12.
Right.
And on my slip, it still has not been cleared. I have no interest on it, but my previous balance is still there.
Good. And this happened yesterday. We had a meeting with agents, and a couple of agents said that. They said they got a notification that the money, they have not received the money, and they will suppress them. And the man said, well, I deposited the money since last week, and they're still telling me the money is outstanding. But the money is outstanding not because of my fault or anything that I did. The money is outstanding because of the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And the bank and the NLCB needs to sort that out. And what they're doing to compound that situation, they're charging interest,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they're calculating this interest, because if you owe them $1 on Monday morning, by the next Monday morning it's $20.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how they're calculating this interest, right? So, and for the life of me, before this mandatory thing to do next day deposit, we had over the counter. They had no issues, very minimal issues.
Mr. Prasad, good morning. A couple of questions. There are 1,200 or so agents, lotto agents in the country. Is that correct?
Yes.
How many are registered with the association?
How many? What
percentage? What percentage or how many are registered with the association that you lead?
Yeah, that's over 600.
So about half of the full agents. The letter that is being circulated.
We have another association run by Mr. Campbell, and he has some agents as well. So we probably cover about 1,000 agents.
Okay, so between both associations, most of the agents are covered, right?
Yes, and we represent them, and we have been engaged by the NLCB, and we have been having meetings off and on with them, not too regular anymore.
The letter that's being circulated, or the policy change, have you been able to identify that it's legitimately from the NLCB?
Have I been able to identify what you're breaking up there?
That the letter is actually from the NLCB. I'm just trying to confirm that.
Yeah, legitimate. Is the letter legitimate?
As far as we know, yeah, because they're not saying otherwise. It's signed by the secretary to the board. I know the name very well too. I wouldn't call the name on air, but I know the name.
And if the letter is stating a policy change that is going to be effective on December 1st, that's what it is?
That's what it is.
How are all agents who are contracted by the NLCB supposed to respond if they have not all received this official correspondence from the NLCB?
Right. There you go again, and this is what we're talking about. How prudent is the management at the NLCB? And we just touched one of the policy updates so far. If you want me to go through it quickly, the second one is mandatory payment when terminal limits are exceeded, which means that you give me a limit for the day. So my limit for the day is $10,000. If I meet that by 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 1 o'clock or whatever time, you go and get that money into the bank for me, please. So we face with the same problem again because it's night safe deposit. So if they find that you're not depositing that money, I don't know how they're going to know now that you have that money, because they can't solve the problem in 2 days or 3 days, but they want you to go and deposit that money within a short space of time.
Just for the edification of the public, there are time frames within which agents must deposit money. One, to ensure that agents don't hold on to a large amount of money for safety reasons, obviously, and for NLCB to manage the inflows based on the agent's business that they do. Is it on a weekly basis, or how does it work?
Right. So you have what you call a weekly deposit. So if you don't exceed your sales limit for the day and so on, you run from Monday to Saturday, and you deposit that money by Monday 2 p.m. the following Monday.
What does it mean not exceed your run?
Right. So that I'm now explaining to you when they said the second policy update is mandatory payment when terminal limits are exceeded. So if they give each agent a limit, right, for the day. Say you sell 10,000. If you reach at 10,000 at any point in time, go and deposit that in the bank. Because if they will see that you crossed 10,000. So they shut down your machine. They can't do any more.
So that's the cash management mechanism.
That is what they're saying. But when I put that money in the bank, they still don't know if I really put that money in the bank.
Yeah, but that's another part of the mechanism. But I guess from their perspective, based on their contract with you, they're trying to manage the amount of money each agent is managing on a daily or weekly basis. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So the banking is another issue.
Yeah, that is what the banking issue is a separate issue. That this is what they're trying to do. But
Mr. Prasad,
yes.
Mr. Prasad, is it that people, some agents have been proffering fake deposits to the NLCB? Why this thing came about?
No, I don't think so. I could safely say that people are not doing fake deposits. What you may find one or two agents doing, they may actually be depositing the money late, which let's say by Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. But that's less than a dozen people doing that. Right. So why broadbrush? Why confuse the whole system because of that? They will know, they will know who are the people, who are the agents.
Well, they will know from each terminal how much business has been transacted daily and weekly.
What I call delinquent agents. They will know the delinquent agents. I am not saying that all agents are, above board. No, we're not saying that. As a matter of fact, we offered help to weed out some of the bad agents. Right? So I don't understand why they continue.
And the policy change document, Mr. Prasad, the agents that are under your association, they received this via email, or how did they receive it?
No, they put what they call a terminal message. So they send it on they send a terminal message, but they also, I think they send it by the IGT sales rep when they go around to do the merchandising and so on.
So they send a terminal message to some terminals and not all?
All terminals.
Yeah, that's what they say.
No, all agents have not received this policy update as yet.
That's very, very odd.
Yeah. No, what happens, Paul, is that every Sunday, all NLCB machines send a message of what you sold for the week, what you did, you bought scratch, what they have to pay. So every agent gets that on a Sunday. So what
right?
Yeah. So that is automatic. So each agent must go to their outlet, their booth, and get that slip. Now, when you get that slip, you have to prepare the monies to deposit.
That's not what I'm asking, Steve. I'm asking about the message related to the policy update and whether only specific agents or some agents receive that on the terminal, if that's the conduit through which NLCB communicated that information.
No, they send out physical letters.
So they send physical hard copy letters?
Yes, yeah.
In an age of email?
No, remember they have IGT doing the work for them, right? They have IGT reps going around furnishing agents with paper rolls and all these consumables.
Yeah. And while they're doing that, they give you a physical copy of this policy update?
Yes, they visit you on a weekly basis. So NLCB will send those letters with those guys.
And not an email so that the agent who is contracted by NLCB knows that this is a bona fide update and instruction from the agency?
Yeah, this is what they do. In
2024, that sounds very odd to me that you're getting only a hard copy and only some people because it's all under one umbrella. That sounds very odd to me.
Yeah, but NLCB by now should have discounted that is not in fact so. That they have nothing to do with that letter, and they have not done that. So Mr. Prasad has to assume it's true.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't think NLCB or IGT know anything about emails. Why does one have to physically go to the booth on a Sunday?
I don't know that NLCB or IGT doesn't know about email. I'm asking about the process that's supposed to be equal with every agent contracted by the NLCB. You can't have some agents receiving an important policy change update and some not, and expect the other to get in the media.
I agree with you. No?
I agree with you on that.
You say, you know,
concern.
a lot of people ain't get a property tax document yet either, you know.
Yeah. So the third one is non-payment considered larceny. If you want to continue, I just want to let you know what is on the
letter. Yes.
Yeah, on the letter, right? It's just 4. So the third one is non-payment considered larceny. Again, as I keep stressing, NLTB considers non-payment, meaning they have not received your money. But you have not non-paid them. You have paid them. You have made your deposit. The bank, again, going back to the bank, is taking their time to send that money to you. And you are saying that is non-payment, and we consider that larceny. Right? So they're going to send the police by you and send you letters. Blah, blah, blah.
I have to admit, Mr. Possard, if I got a letter with that clause, I would want to think that has to be a fake letter. Because how could NLCB say your non-payment is considered larceny? I don't know that a responsible organization like NLCB would dare put something.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah. Because there's so many anomalies here. One, that everyone didn't receive the information who is contracting. 2, that it went via hard copy to some people and not all people. And 3, it didn't go through an email, especially since NLCB contracts big shot communication experts.
Yeah. that clause in that letter sounds a little ridiculous to me.
Which is why I assume the associations are raising an issue about it. And if it is that NLCB did not send it, wouldn't NLCB say, excuse me, that letter
say that. They should put it in communique saying an email or letters being circulated that did not originate from NLCB. Please disregard.
Yeah, because
when you purportedly put in a communique that a change in policy that's not adhered to amounts to a breach of the law, criminal breach of the law, it can't be that some people get it and some ain't get it and it's on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, you're raising a very good point there, because policy changes has to come from cabinet, because we don't have an executive board as far as I am aware. There's not an executive chairman, neither an executive board. So where are these policy changes coming from?
I don't know that cabinet policy changes regarding NLCB have to come from cabinet. If it may or it may not. Because there was a high profile, is it suspension the other day?
Yes. Not suspension.
The officer because of some discrepancies. I don't know how NLCB operates its business, but certainly, as Richard was saying, if there are these discrepancies regarding changes in policy between NLCB and the agents, and NLCB is not being proactive in communication and clarifying these issues, NLCB is at fault.
Yeah.
And I don't know how an institution can say in a letter that if you do X, it is a criminal offense. It's larceny.
That's what I said. On omission of some sort of change.
Yeah. You could say such transactions or such delinquency may be reported to the relevant authorities or something like that. If you understand what I'm saying. But you can't determine it's a larceny, because larceny is based on evidence.
Yeah.
And the evidence has to be analyzed by the authorities.
And that is why the whole thing sounds very odd to me.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm asking. The first question I ask is if these letters are bona fide from the NLC, but if you're saying when the people from NLC come to bring the paper roll and all that, they hand people letter and some get and some ain't get, and in the age of email, when I'm sure each registered agent is communicating or has a registered email with NLCB, you could do both, but you can't do one.
Obviously the assumption can't be made that NLCB is an organized institution.
Yeah. Mr. Possard,
because organized institutions, Paul, would make sure that everybody gets it.
Yeah.
So the bare idea that everybody did not get it means that there is some organizational structure in NLCB that has real gaps.
Yes. Mr. Posad, if you could get a copy of that letter to any one of us, either Steve Kahn, Richard, or Paul, and we will check our sources. I'm going to send it straight to the Minister of Finance, Cormimbert, and ask him if this is legitimate. And I'm going to send it to people in NLCB too.
Yeah. Once you give me a WhatsApp number, I could send that for you as soon as we finish this interview.
Yeah. Well, you have my number, so.
Yeah. Okay. That number.
Yeah.
That number. Yes.
Yeah.
And the fourth and the final provision is a provision of a bond for all suppressed agents. Meaning that if you suppress the machine for what they consider non-payment, non-deposit, and whatever, the slightest possible reason, they will suppress your machine. To get your machine back up and running, you have to take out a $25,000 bond in this hard time and pay a $1,000 reactivation fee. And it used that reactivation fee used to be $100. They went to $500 and now $1,000 just within a year. And they're doing all that on their unilaterally. So that is the fourth one.
Is it then that because of the tardiness, because of delinquency on behalf of some of these gaming operators, why these harsh measures are being implemented, Mr. Posad?
No, I don't think so. I think this is just poor management style.
Well, you're saying you don't think so, but you're not sounding definitive, because we don't know that NLCB may not be making these changes because of identifying their gaps within which some of the agents are operating. So we don't know that. Unless you could say definitively, it's not. We don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
NLCB as the body that regulates this sector has to take steps to make sure that the agents that who they've contracted with stay in line with the policy and the mechanisms. It's their responsibility to do that.
But there still should be some level of collaboration between the two representative associations and the agents and NLCB, and it certainly shouldn't be just a unilateral decisions that are just made, and not only that, but inefficiently made. Because if only some people have gotten that letter and some haven't, it means you're already inefficient. You're already inefficient.
Gentlemen, I'll tell you something. That is why I am in the system for over 17, 18 years now. And I'll tell you something. Prior to this board coming into office, we never had all these issues on the previous boards, because we had the over-the-counter deposit. We had agents getting enough time to explain their situation. We had agents' machines up and running, and people were selling, and NLCB was making money, and the agent was making money, and so on. That is why I said it is not prudent management. When they came into power, they started to do all these things that are mandatory night safe deposit. That came with a host of problems, right? Then they tell you deposit your money by 2 p.m. Host of problems, right? Take out a $25,000 bond as soon as the machine gets suppressed. Host of problems, because when your machine gets suppressed and you don't have that $25,000, you have over 200 and something machines suppressed. So the government is losing at least $5 million per week with suppressed machines, right? So that is why I'm saying that the management style is not too bright as far as I'm concerned, because NLCB is losing money, the agents are losing money, and we are in a chaotic state, right? And as you all said, gentlemen, if this is not an official document, NLCB is supposed to say something by now.
Yeah.
And they have not responded to this. So where is the management style? How good is this management? Why is it that all of the agents have not received this at the same time? What is happening here? And that is why I said, I corrected you all in the beginning, that this is not the beginning of an impasse. This is the continuation of an impasse, and it all started just around January 2018. We never had all these issues on the chairman. I mean, I don't want to call names. I mean, we used to have agents conferences and so on. Agents come out and they treat us nicely. They give us a mic and we talk and tell them what is our issues. They used to give agents trips to places, all-inclusive trips and so on for reaching a certain sales figure and that kind of thing. Now is just draconian measures. They're just squeezing us by the neck.
So you all are incentivized to sell more? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, well, ultimately, you want to sell more?
It's ultimately what?
You all are incentivized to sell more as agents. You get all-inclusive trips.
That's right. We have no incentives here. There's nothing to motivate us. Yeah, we used to be motivated to sell. And so the agents are giving up their machines now. The machines used to be something people want.
How do agents be motivated to sell more?
When you remove, if they remove the reactivation fee, right, or reduce it from $1,000 to $100, agents will be motivated to work. If you reduce the weekly settlement fee, which was $15, and you send it up to $100, right? I am demotivated to work because I don't.
But I do understand, isn't it, that statement is very confusing to me. You decide you're going to run a lottery booth or a player booth or whatever it is. It's incumbent upon you because that's how you make your money. I understand there may be some incentives, but you will say you wouldn't work. You would take out a contract with NLCB to sell to run a business with an NLCB booth, and you have to be motivated and incentivized to run it properly. That sounds confusing to me. And if you don't, well, they go sit down and do nothing. That's what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying that you take it out, you're doing your business, but when they suppress your machine because they just decide in their mind, they find that they have not received the money as yet. Right? Follow me here. So I am selling, I am motivated, I have my own business, I have to call the contract with you also. Right, fine. I do everything that you ask me to do. I make the deposit, even on a Sunday, I go even before 2 p.m. You have not received the money, and you shut down my machine, you suppress my machine. I'm starting to lose sales now. Why? I'm calling you, you're not answering your phone. 2 days after, I finally realized that is because you have not received your money. But my machine is down. And I am saying to you, but I deposited the money since Sunday. I deposited it since Monday before 2 p.m. So those are the things that I'm talking about. And then you suppress my machine because of no fault of mine, and then you're telling me pay $1,000 reactivation fee. I am demotivated.
So let me ask this question quickly, Mr. Prasad. Is that something, are you speaking about experiences that people have had, or is that now something that you expect to happen? You know why I'm asking that? Because NLCB must know that when you do a night safe, it never enters your account the next day. It takes 2 to 3 days sometimes.
That assumes that people are being reasonable and intelligent about the decisions they make, Wendell.
Right. So, and I'm saying, but they must know that. They're part of the state machinery. They must know that.
Wendell, you're not living in Trinidad and Tobago.
I would love
you have decisions that people make that you question sometimes and say, wait, that makes no sense.
I would love to take you to our meeting and to see what you have to deal with. You don't understand what is happening. You see what you say, what you consider common sense, and what you consider the norm, and this is reasonable. So you don't get this. Listen, you don't get this. This is what you thinking is reasonable and normal, and what I thinking. Some people who are running businesses, big businesses, they look. It baffles the mind. It baffles the mind. These are simple solutions. These are simple fixes. Simple.
Sometimes decision makers, I don't know, get clouded and stupid and silly. I'm sorry. That has been my experience, and I'm like, what? That decision makes no sense. That policy decision makes no sense. And certainly, in certain institutions, when I encounter it, I query. I say, why would you all make a decision like that? It makes no sense, and it retards the efficiency of whatever process. I mean, not specific to this, of course. I'm just talking generally. But I mean, obviously, there are issues happening there, and the issues start from the fact that if you're implementing a change from December 1st, everybody's supposed to be on the page at the same time.
Yes.
So that if only some people know it, and December 1st ain't that far away, and other lotto agents don't know, then you're already in a recipe for chaos and obviously pushback. And as an institution or as a management team, at least this is how I see it, and Wendell, I know you would manage things, you don't want no chaos and pushback. No. You want decisions to be that were made, that they move through the system seamlessly, and that everybody's on board and there is buy-in to what the process is.
Yeah.
That's right. And
That's what you want.
we are not asking for much, you know. We are telling them, okay, this is the situation here. We'll pay if we suppress, we pay activation fee, but don't make it $1,000 in these times, right? And we don't tell us to deposit. It must be deposited by 2 p.m. on a Monday. It's not practical now in this country. The crime, the high rate of crime, and all. You can't impose these things on us. You can't tell us they got a $25,000 bond because your machine suppressed. And when I find out the machine is suppressed and there's no fault of mine, and you're adamant in making me pay this $25,000 and $1,000 reactivation fee and leaving my machine suppressed. Suppression should be a thing of the past. Understand this, gentlemen. Suppression of a machine means that NLCB loses 92% of your sales. We get 8% of the commission, 92%, and you are shutting down on an average 200 to 250 machines are locked off every week.
And this is actually happening, Mr. Prasad. Is that what you're saying?
This is fact. This is actually happening. You go the whole demands on the stretch. There are 2 machines down for the last year. Harry Peter Avenue, right? A lady got robbed, right? I'm not going to call names and agents' names. She got robbed. She tried to make an arrangement with them. The machine shut down since 24th of March, right? Another machine shut down since the 29th of April, right? Because there was a malfunctioning situation with that agent machine. He went to NLCB. They changed the machine. The man said, look, either I'll send somebody to operate this machine because they say that you operator thiefing or you thiefing. The man said, look, listen, the only thing I could suggest on my end, send somebody to operate the machine. They said it's a very good idea, but they refused to send somebody. The man said, well, change my terminal. They changed the terminal given correct figures, right? They shut down the man now, be telling the man that the money that you short deposit all the time, they allow the agent to deposit short, right? Whilst they were investigating it, they say, okay, deposit what you have. Now they're telling the man that he is owing that money, which they make him run for about a year. They make him run for about a year and telling them, no, you're going them over X amount of dollars. Charging interest on that. Shut down the machines on the 29th of April. Good agents. Agents who have been depositing on time, who have a good track record, and you shut down that machine, and they reach nowhere, you know, they're no closer to getting the money or to getting a resolution to the problem. So it has not yielded any success. So suppressing a machine is not a means of getting results.
While I hear you,
is that Peter paying for Paul?
Yeah, but I don't know that is true, and it will be important now to hear from NLCB so that they give their version of these issues and why these issues are arising.
Well, I did reach out to Mr. Nancis yesterday, and he said no.
I am telling you, gentlemen, that these are facts. I have documented evidence of this.
And that is fine, but in a real world situation, we have to hear both sides of the story, all sides of the story.
Of course, no problem. I have in my possession a letter that an agent wrote since last year, October. He followed it up with another letter about a month ago, stating that his machine is malfunctioning, his weekly settlement figures is not in sync with his cash in hand. He would like an investigation done. They have not replied to that. And the reason for not replying, I'm telling you this, gentlemen, the reason for not replying is because they don't want to address the issue, because that will be a big issue, you know. Now, some of the terminals are giving the problems, they're not all. But agents are saying, look, listen, something is wrong here. Try and fix it. But you tell me, I am your employee, and I tell you, look, I have a problem here. It's affecting my sales. Won't you come and address the problem? They have not acknowledged receipt of the letter as yet, since last year, October. That is why I said that this is not prudent management, this is management style. Okay, you could try to get people in line to get your money deposited, but it has been happening all the time. This lot of thing going on 10 years now. All of a sudden we having problems. I put that down to management.
Well, we'll see.
Before
We'll keep
on
reaching
the-
out to NLCB to get a response from them. Mr. Prasad, thanks for being with us this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So I'll send that. I'll send the document to you, right?
Yep, no
Yes,
problem.
Please do.
Okay.
Thank you,
all
Mr.
very
Prasad,
much.
for being with us this morning.
Yeah, thank you all.
All the best.
Right.
And for anyone else who's listening and in the know about what's going on, we could take a position. Now might be a good time to call in and say yea or nay, or corroborate or disagree.
Well, I don't know that NLCB can stay silent on this.
No, they can't. Because I saw it on television last
clarify
night.
why what has happened is happening. If indeed they can confirm that the letter did come from them. Why it didn't go to all agents? Why wasn't an email sent along with the hard copy to make sure that everyone is updated on this critical and important policy update? You can't. It just sounds like a lot of red flags to me. That's why I told Mr. Prasad. And there may be very valid reasons why all this is happening, because I'm sure it's very difficult to manage. Not everyone will be an honest NLCB agent. Let's not pretend.
No, but we know that.
Okay.
We know that.
But Paul, this has been around for a while.
And that's even
not a
though it's been around for a
It's
while.
not a new framework.
Not everyone who comes into the system, because I'm sure people go out and people come into the system all the time.
Yes.
Because it's an ongoing, evolving thing in terms of agents who may have run afoul and agents who apply and who they approve for machines and stuff like that.
You would have dealt with those issues before for years.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They should come out and make a statement and saying this policy change is being enacted because we've discovered X and Y and we're trying to close gaps or something, or we did not send the letter, or we did send the letter and we sent it to some because of X and Y, and try to provide a reason, because it seems untenable that as a state entity like that they can send to some people and not send it electronically also.
Where are the lawyers and all of this too?
But in my interactions with NLCB, I am not surprised. I always find they give off a kind of disorganized, chaotic air. That's my opinion. And certainly with regard to theater and sponsorship, we don't even bother anymore. Because the kind of policy decisions they have made with regard to sponsorship, I think theater companies just bypass them and just don't bother, even though it's a sport and culture fund. Sport and culture.
And imagine.
But the amount of hoops that you have to jump through
You're
to get
right.
access to that.
And imagine a play. Imagine a play that actually promoting
Richard, the issue is not
NLCB,
even
as in Lotto
that
Madrid.
it's a sport and culture fund. One of the issues I've always had with these types of arrangement is whether or not the process of choosing who gets sponsorship is transparent and equitable.
Yeah.
It's
Okay?
always
It's not that you have a sports and culture fund, but you don't know what the process is and whether it's transparent and equitable.
Well, it's not only that it has to be transparent and equitable, it also has to be customer friendly to the people and stakeholders who make up that community.
But that's what transparent means.
Yeah. And it's not.
That's part of what transparent means. It means, as I said, transparent and equitable. It means
a link in the office of the Prime Minister. That's where the funds are.
We don't even bother. Anytime my production staff say, maybe we should approve.
That's where the Sports and Culture Fund is, Paul. We're watching this over. You know that?
I say good luck.
That's where the Sports and Culture Fund is held.
I should take my sponsorship in Australia and cool myself.
I prefer to try international agency for sponsorship rather than local, because it's too much.
All night could I be sitting down and buy a reef.
You could have given me that watch. You could have given me that watch and go back and get a whole big clock.
Not only that, you had a perfect opportunity to help theater and say, there are a lot of theater people in Trinidad and Tobago that need assistance.
Exactly.
And I'm going to spend the weekend with you, but can you set up something that they could get money? All of that you could have do. But no, I don't want the watch. No, I can't spend the weekend with you. Take it for the theater community.
Take one for the team, Paul.
Exactly.
Take one for the team.
Yeah. We're from Trinidad and Tobago, not in the Caribbean.
Put it in a glass.
Yeah, Wendell, that and plenty zeros behind it.
I think I have to thank Wendell because I was wearing my the Jamaican t-shirt Wendell bought, so maybe that.
Oh Jesus! Look at that! You could have, and that will tell you to give me the watch, and you go back and get a clock.
She probably thought I was from the land of wood and water.
Look at it, Richard. You see what my Jamaican T-shirt do for him?
She said you're very tall and handsome. How tall are you? I said 6'4". She said,
What she was saying is, you sure?
Kind of
What?
Was she looking at your football?
Maybe she was sipping a smoothie at the same time, Wendell, and we not getting the context.
She said my driver's waiting outside, you know.
Oh, I'm a driver too. What the hell?
Quite opulent. She said she's a driver waiting outside.
Did she say, "Oh, what big feet you have"?
You know,
she didn't
I
say
love.
that.
You know, these opportunities don't come often, and the fact that it has come to you, Paul, of all of us, the fact that it has come to you in an opportunity.
I wouldn't agree with that. It's not the first time I've been propositioned in that way. I was looking quite fetching. I was looking quite fetching that day, you know.
Oh Lord.
But because of my sacrifice to destroy, I came back.
Yeah, you know what he said?
Yeah.
Because of this show, please.
You took an email or WhatsApp?
You took a number? Share.
No, I didn't take the number.
Oh, Jesus. You just wasted a whole hour of our time then.
She was trying to get where I was staying, though.
Anyway, do we have a call, Steve?
Mr. Prasad just sent me these stuff. I'll send it to you guys.
Yeah, send it. Somebody has to respond to that because
I don't know who.
And NLCB invests so much in communications.
Yes. You go ahead.
But don't they?
You go ahead.
They invest so much in communications. They do.
Oh dear.
Don't they have on retainer some really good communications people?
You look at
Who's the managing director of NLCB? Do they have such a position there?
Well, I know Mr. Nancis is the chairman.
He's chairman of the board, but they don't run NLCB, do they? NLCB is run by a CEO or managing director, not so?
I would imagine so.
One would think.
Yeah. Because Mr. Prasad was harping on this new board since this board come in, but I don't know that the board actually runs the show.
But when I hear those statements, they're red flags to me because that's personalizing.
It sounds political.
And if you seeming to thrive under one person, it means the system is flawed.
Yeah.
You know, and it can't be that, well, you're getting your way with one people. I'm not using that word loosely. And then because another board maybe have tighter regulatory controls.
Yes.
No, but Paul, there is also something called good management and bad management.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't get tired.
In the absence of information
there's
from
some
NLCB,
businesses
we don't
that
know.
thrive. Yeah, but I'm saying we don't know, but there's some businesses that thrive under certain types of leadership and management, and then leadership changes, and you're talking about big world-class companies, and then all of a sudden it shifts in a different direction. So management matters.
So hence my question: who is running NLCB? It can't be the board.
Let me tell you, from time to time, more often than it should be, a lot of issues come up with NLCB because of the nature of the operation and because of how much money is passing through.
The person who was running NLCB, didn't they just recently get themselves into a bit of hot water?
There's a senior management issue recently in the public domain.
Yes.
Someone was suspended and there's an investigation ongoing. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
From time, and it's not the first time because of the nature of, remember, NLCB is one of those entities that actually is profit generating on a large scale, you know.
Very profit generating.
Yeah, and when that kind of money passes into the system, it's human beings you're dealing with. So controls are very strict, and also dealing with, and I understand from NLCB's position, if you have 1,200 agents, and Mr. Prasad was saying as many as 200 machines are being shut down a month, if his information is correct, it may be that, and you have to manage, because if you allow an entity like NLCB not to be tightly regulated, you're going to have problems.
Yes.
You're going to open the door to corruption and all kind of craziness, and then you'll say, well, they're not managing the sector properly. You know? So anyway, you all have a great day. Be safe.
It's that time. Oh, we didn't get a call.
On
All right, folks.
NLCB's website ain't working.
All right, folks, have an absolutely wonderful day. Remember to let go and let God.
That hasn't been working for a while, Steve. I don't think
Really?
that's new.
First time I checked it.
Yeah, that hasn't been working for a while. I think it says under construction or something like that, isn't it?
What, the website?
The website.
Yeah.
Does it say under construction or something like that?
The website is blocked by your network. Blocked by your network operator.
By your network operator, okay. I know for a while it was under construction. I don't know if they've now resumed operations of it. Anyway, have a fantastic day, whatever you do. And remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. Don't let anybody bother you. Just, enjoy the day, whatever you do on this Monday morning. Have a great one.
All right, folks, keep it locked on. Let's get into, my mouse is stuck. Okay, here we go. Let's get into our 8 o'clock news brief. AV is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
This is your news update at 8 o'clock. I'm Avril Cynthia Bob. Good morning. Lotto and Playway agents are threatening a week-long shutdown countrywide. There are approximately 1,200 agents in Trinidad. The association's president, Dean Prasad, said that agents were sent a release by NLCB on October 4th with new measures, which he described as harsh and draconian and which will take effect on December 1st. He told the Power Breakfast Show this morning that the release dealt with the issue of deposits and states that agents are to make their deposits on Mondays by 2 p.m. He explained that, according to the release, failure to make deposits within those stipulations will lead to gaming machines being suppressed or shut down by the NLCB. He said, however, this is unfair since they are insisting that the agents are not to show proof of payment, but the responsibility lies with the bank. He explained this could be different or difficult depending on when the money is paid to the bank. He said the money may register as outstanding, not because they were errant in their payments, but because of the banking system. He questioned whether the agents are now expected to carry cash to the bank, which would then put their safety in jeopardy. As the country continues to grapple with forex challenges, the International Monetary Fund said on Friday that TNT's foreign exchange restrictions are not consistent with the fund's articles of agreement. The Washington, D.C.-based lender of last resort is seeking to persuade this country to end the restrictions. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Colm Imbert insists that the government has maintained its fixed foreign exchange regime to control inflation. Minister Imbert indicated that the IMF's call for greater exchange rate flexibility is not new, as it was made back in 2012. And the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service arrested 17 people and destroyed more than 4,000 marijuana trees after they seized $19 million in cocaine. The arrests began on November 7th after officers received information on 2 cars said to be transporting drugs. Well, that was your update to 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right, it is 3 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock on this, the 11th day of the 11th month, 24. And let's say a hearty good morning going out to Dennise Demming.
Hi, morning. Absolutely wonderful to be here. And I'm seeing that my friend Lauren Pouchette is also here. So thank you very much. I'm Dennise Demming, the host of Power Conversations on a Monday and Wednesday at 8 a.m. We dig deeper into issues that are trending in our class this morning is Lauren Pouchette. Lauren, wonderful to have you here. Your name is often associated with tourism, but recently I saw something else, that you are certified original pain therapist. Tell us about that. Lauren, are you hearing me? Lauren doesn't seem to be hearing us. Steve, could you please ensure that whatever has to be done is done so that we can continue this conversation?
Hi, Lauren. Can you hear me, Lauren? Okay. Well, I don't have my camera on. So.
I'm not hearing. I'm now hearing her, but I don't know if she's hearing us.
Lorraine, are you hearing us? Okay, you'll have to call her, Dennise.
Okay, I'll take
You'll
off
have to
my
give her a call. I could just point to your ear and see if she could hear us. Yeah, she's Can you hear us, Lorraine? Can you hear me now?
Now hearing you, yes.
All right, good. And you're hearing me? Are you hearing Dennise?
But
yes, are you hearing me?
Right,
yes,
great. I'm now hearing you.
Okay, right. We're on like
Sorry about
pause.
that.
Here we go.
We started already.
Okay, welcome, Lorraine.
Thank you.
On air. We are on air, Lorraine.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome to Power Conversations. I know you from tourism, but recently saw something that you are an original pain therapist.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, original pain therapy is a specialized area of psychology and counseling. It is an area that deals with the traumas that we experience or the deficits that we experience from conception to about 10, 12, because those are the helpless stages of development of the human being. And when our needs are not met, we develop what we call ego defenses or coping mechanisms, which may be good for us in childhood, but cannot work for us in adulthood. And if we don't have a proper childhood experience and at each stage our needs are met, what tends to happen is that in adolescence now, which is the in-between stage, as we call it. So the childhood is the helpless stage when you're in the control of the adults in your environment, and the teenager is the in-between stage, that stage that takes you from childhood to adulthood. Now, if you're building blocks, if your foundation is not strong, then you're going to have some problems navigating that very difficult time of development, which is the teenager, or what we call the tweenage, because it is the most difficult time in the human life cycle, because you're getting accustomed to all different types of things coming into your system, your emotions, your hormones, your ability to be able to handle your issues for yourself, wondering whether you will get a job, wondering whether you'll find somebody to love you. All these kinds of things if the building blocks from childhood are secure and safe and firm, become an adult that is able to handle issues as they come our way. But so it's like trauma counseling. You have to understand what happened. Let me give you a little example. If, for example, in the womb you were not wanted, okay, mommy had how many children? She didn't want a fifth child, and you were not wanted. Your issues coming into the world will be rejection issues. If your issues are rejection issues, you navigate childhood, you go through teenagerhood, become an adult, and you meet somebody that you really like and you want to get involved with. The first time that person comes across to you as that they're rejecting you, you will throw a tizzy fit, as they say. It will really floor you, because it will connect back to that original pain, which means that you have low self-esteem, and there are a lot of issues that go with it. So I think that basically will give you a little idea about original pain therapies, about going back to the original point of the trauma that you experienced, where your needs were not met or something happened that caused you to have a defense mechanism that may not work in relationships. And when we carry all of that into adulthood, it affects us on the job, it affects us in the family, it affects us in society, it affects us in all our relationships. So it is a part of trauma counseling. And what we do is, in our work, in the work that I do, what we do is we help people to get in touch with that, if there is any, with that original pain, so that they can free themselves from it and become the very best that they were created to be. We do this through something called regression therapy, which is not hypnosis, by the way, just to make sure that I let you know that.
Yes. So, Lorraine, to what extent do we need this level of trauma in our country, this level of therapy in our country?
Well, My courses are always very full, so I assume that there are a lot of traumatized people in Trinidad and Tobago. And I just want to give you a statistic. If we go back to what I use as an example, which is not being wanted when you're in your mother's womb, over 66% of women don't want to be pregnant, which means that we have 66% of us walking around with those kind of issues. Okay. Now, what is for us to understand what is a traumatized country, we need to understand what is trauma. So I will read for you because I don't want to misquote. Trauma is the lasting emotional response that often results from living through a distressing or helpless event. Simple. Lasting emotional response that often results from living through a distressing, helpless event. It can harm one's sense of safety, one's sense of self, and ability to regulate emotions and navigate relationships. If we look at what is happening in our country, particularly as it relates to the crime situation and domestic violence, it says that we have a traumatized nation because we are living through helpless stages of various issues. We don't know what's happening with our government. We don't know what's happening with the economy. We don't know what's happening with our foreign exchange. We don't know. We elect leaders. They're there in charge of us. But however, we still can't pay our bills. We still can't have food on the table. We still can't supply what we need for our children. If we are supposed to get help from the state, it's difficult to access it. You have to jump through 1,000 hoops. And many, many people are really suffering from this chronic trauma that exists in not knowing what is the next step for us within our society and within this nation that we call Trinidad and Tobago. We still together? Dennise? Hello? Hello? Are we frozen? Are we?
It's still on movie. So they're watching you. Every movement you make.
All right. Seems like we lost Dennise.
Okay.
I
was telling you.
Yes, watch TV upstairs.
She may have to rejoin.
Okay. I thought it was me, you know.
No, I'm seeing you.
Okay.
I'm seeing you.
Because I wasn't hearing her.
Yeah,
I thought it was cut off.
Yeah, she's not on my screen. So let me try and see if I could raise her.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. 1 second. Folks, just bear with us 1 second. We'll rejoin this interview. Let me see if I get her here. By time. Oh, my camera. Okay.
Richards.
Yeah. 1 second, folks. 1 second. I'm calling Dennise. I'm calling Dennise. Dennise is not answering. Okay, let me not get her there at all. Dennise fell off the planet, Charles. So we'll try and see if we can get her back. Let me see if I get her back here. Sorry about that.
Boy. How
I tell you, technology sometimes.
What? Yes.
It's a double-edged sword. Okay. I don't know. She's not answering now.
Okay.
So please, Paul, if she rejoin, Paul will have to bring her back in. No, I didn't get her. I got her voicemail. System has died.
Favorite books.
All right. I'll try to get Paul and see if he could if she's there. Yeah, Paul's phone is ringing too, so let's see what, yeah. All right, so I got on to Paul, so he's going to check right now. I wonder if this is Dennise that is messaging me now. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's Captain Ron. Good morning, Captain Ron. Yeah. All right, so I don't know what you all were speaking about early on.
Okay, we were speaking about an area that I'm involved in psychology and counseling, which is original pain therapy and the root causes of trauma in society.
Yeah, you know what I'm noticing a lot of, both locally and internationally with celebrities and so on, is mental health.
Yes.
That seems to be prevalent now within this post-COVID, I would think. Would you say the same?
I would say that post-COVID, it is rearing its head more, but we have always had mental health issues.
Yeah.
And people have been finding ways to cope. So we call it ego defenses or coping mechanisms. But
Yeah.
what COVID did was to remove the cap of that. So things started to surface. And this is why you found more and more issues within family situations, because there was no way to run away to, no work to run to, no fete to go to. Yeah, everybody was in the same space. So therefore, the issues that you ignored or you kept buried surfaced. So you found that you had more, you got more in touch with the issues that affected you negatively, which you had been trying to avoid through your ego defenses and coping mechanisms for quite a while.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, I did go through that, a little mental health issue. A lot was happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And, it created panic attacks.
That's right.
Anxiety. I'd be sleeping and just get up, trying to go back to sleep, feeling I can't breathe. And it was scary.
Because I'll tell you, anxiety attacks is our concern about the future, is when we don't feel in control. You see, depression is really based in the past issues that have affected you negatively. But when you are now in a situation where you're not too sure what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen, then you get a lot of anxiety, and that can actually manifest itself in a physical response. And if you've had issues from the past that were not resolved, but you had buried it in what we call your unconscious, because we operate through the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious. The conscious is you and me talking now. The subconscious is the fact that we lost Dennise some time ago and we could remember we lost her 10 minutes ago. The unconscious now is where we bury the things that we don't want to have in our space because it may detract us from being able to live a life under normal circumstances. But what we don't understand is that what we bury in the unconscious, it doesn't go away. It's right there, it stays there, and it affects you. So, for example, your symptoms would have been your concern with the COVID, number 1, you being locked up, number 2. 3, you're not too sure what's going to be happening to you in the next month, 2 months, 3 months. And therefore you would have had anxiety about, would you be able to cope with? How would your health be? Would you survive this? So there would be a lot of issues. But if there are issues from before, it exacerbates those issues because the trauma will be heightened.
Yeah. It was nothing to do with COVID, because I came to work every day during COVID, while my team were at home. It was I had a death of one of my pets, which was I was extremely close to, and she was diagnosed with something, kidney failure, and only had 18 days with her after that. Right. And this was a dog that used to go everywhere with me, including here at the office. I used to bring her in. So that was part of it. And then I had another issue that was happening at the same time. And then on top of that, I had 3 issues to deal with, put it that way, all within the same time. So it was kind of, all happening too fast. What's going on? Pretty much the unknown, as you said earlier on.
Yeah. And here, what is happening there with you? That loss that you had of your pet, that's your child. That's your family.
Yeah,
right?
Well, everybody that listens to us knew exactly Empress was like my child.
That's your child, right? Yeah. So you had the loss of your child, which is your family. You had the loss of your freedom as you know it. And you have had some other losses in the past which you had not yet navigated. And you had not been able to grieve it properly. So all of this was an overwhelming sense of grieving of things that you knew, but also grieving things that maybe you didn't have in your recollection, in your conscious, but it was there and needed to be dealt with and needed to be able to be discharged. So all of these was like a perfect storm. And even though you were getting up and going to work and doing the things that you're supposed to do, or that you think that you have to do, at the bottom of all of that was these emotions, because remember, emotions is energy in motion. And if we don't process our emotions properly, that energy can get displaced into other areas, could cause us anxiety, could cause all kinds of things.
Well, thank you so much. We do have Dennise back with us.
Hi, Dennise. I thought it was me, but it
was me. I don't know what it is.
I took over your show.
That's okay. I'm so happy.
Thank you ever so much, Steve. Thank you
Not
very much.
Not a problem, my dear. We were just chatting about we were chatting about mental health.
Yes.
So when I had my issue like 4 years ago, I had to deal with it. Our commander in chief here at the office said, take the time that you need, and that actually helped. Of moving forward, as Lorraine said, in moving forward to deal with it. And I was able to deal with it. I mean, I keep my personal life as private as I can be. But, but it did help. And Lorraine is absolutely right. I had to take the time to do my own self-healing, put it that way.
Yes.
So thank you, Lorraine. Okay, Dennise, I'm out of here. All yours now again.
Thank you very much. So, Lorraine, I missed the whole part of the conversation, but let's just talk a little about if a miracle happened and you could transform our country, what would be one thing you would do in terms of the trauma that we all experience?
If I had the ability to transform the country, the first thing I would do is to understand, because if I had the ability to transform, it means that I would be in a leadership role. And therefore, the first thing I would need to recognize and accept is the fact that I am there not for me, but for everybody else in my country. And if it is I don't take care of the needs of the people in my country and have them have the ability to access a proper, humane type of lifestyle, then I would be digging myself and the country into a hole. So I would have to make sure that there are things that are available. And just as we were discussing about the mental health issues, I mean, yes, they have just transformed at St. Anne's Hospital, the front foyer, but have we transformed the quality of the care that we are giving to our persons who have mental health issues? Because I have known people who have passed through that facility and it was a nightmare, absolute nightmare. And therefore, I don't think we are first world as how to understand, and we don't understand what is really required to help people to be able to have a proper healthy lifestyle. For example, many times people are diagnosed as bipolar, schizophrenic, all other kinds of things. But there are also times when you are feeling a little off, you are very anxious, very depressed or whatever, and you go to somebody, and the first thing that happens is that you're given pills and tablets. There are processes that persons can have blood tests done to see if the chemical levels in their brain are functioning as it should, if they're in balance or if they're out of balance. And to me, before we start treating people that we consider mentally ill or unstable for example, like in St. Anne's, we need to understand where that instability is coming from. So the first thing I would do is to have access made available to every single family, that their children could be tested to ensure that they are okay and that they're not going to fall through the cracks. So, for example, why I say that is, for example, boys tend to be dyslexic more than girls. And you have the school system where people actually bluff their way through the school system, and it's only later on they realize, hello, I had trouble reading, I had trouble understanding, I had trouble assimilating and discerning what was being said. If we could identify and diagnose those things earlier, it would mean that persons would have a proper chance at having a quality life. And if you notice, most of the crimes being perpetrated are being perpetrated by males. Why is that so? Why is that so? We should ask ourselves that question. Why are the males the ones who are perpetrating the crimes? First and foremost, males not supposed to feel. They're not supposed to cry. They're supposed to be strong and suck in everything. From young, we are taught that. What happened to you? Is a little girl or what? You want a skirt? Get up and behave yourself. Stop crying. That's the first thing we tell a young boy. So they have learned to shut down their feelings. They have learned to shut up if they don't understand something, because they don't want to be made a fool of and they don't want to be bullied. So we need to understand that there's a lot that we have to do. But we need to work very strongly on our mental health processes, how we treat with mental health, how we have diagnosed mental health, and how we have vehicles and resources available, and we don't stigmatize it. Just like your chemical levels may not be in balance in your brain and may cause you to act in a way that is not normal, that is very similar to you having too much sugar in your body, or your body cannot process sugar properly. Therefore, you get medication to help you with that. But you know what it is because you have done a blood test. When you have a chemical imbalance, you need to do a test to understand what that imbalance is and what do I need to give you to help you to bring it back in balance so you can be a balanced individual. So I would start by looking at the whole healthcare system. It has failed us in all aspects.
Well, there's an issue that I recently talked about with regard to our healthcare system. And that is, although we have invested a lot of money in structures, so we have a lot of healthcare centers, hospitals, and so on, although we've done that, they work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., most of them, not the general hospital. But all our healthcare centers within communities work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you have a problem from 4 p.m. to 8 a.m., you do not have any access to one of the health centers. And most of the health centers have a wellness center, a wellness part.
Yes.
But if wellness centers are not available outside of working hours, then I think we're wasting time. You know, so that's a bit.
Let me say something to that, Dennise, and you're spot on there. The point is that, yes, we have a lot of new buildings and so on. And one will ask ourselves, why are we investing so much in mortar and concrete and not enough in the human capital that is required? The only reason that you have it closing at a certain hour is because you don't have a second team to go from that hour to the next morning. You don't have enough people trained. You're not investing enough in the human capacity. And we ask ourselves, I ask myself the question, I wonder why that is. Is it because there's no money to be made for me personally because of human capacity, but from buildings and just buildings and whatever it is that happens? And I wouldn't say it openly, but you know exactly what I mean. Maybe I should say it openly. You know,
maybe you should say it.
Yes, you can't get kickbacks from investing in human resources. You can certainly
Yes.
get it from investing in concrete and mortar. You can get it for that, because we're building all these things, but the services are not improving. The services are not improving. We have a fantastic health center, administration center, and when you go into the hospitals and you go for care and attention, you could die right there. You could die right there. And this is not to negate those who are really very interested in being health practitioners. There are lots of people out there who they really take their calling very seriously, and they would really like to do what they can to help the people. But they cannot, because they don't even have the resources within the institutions to deliver the products that they are supposed to deliver.
Mm-hmm. And there's another issue, particularly in the healthcare facilities and the healthcare industry, that people have two jobs. So they have a government job, and they then have a private sector job. So leaving at 4 o'clock to go to their private sector job works for them because it's their second income generating activity. So we really need to redefine and reorganize our system, our structures, and our processes.
Why do they need the second job? Is it because the first job is not paying them a salary that they can live on? Why is that happening? Why is that happening? That people you see, this is a holistic thing. We need to look at all the things that contribute to what is happening. Why, if I love my job so much and I have chosen to be this person, I've been trained to give healthcare, especially for mentally ill people or whatever it is, but yet I find that I have to go for a second job. It means that there's something that is wrong in the economy. There's something that is wrong in our system, that person is not able to provide a living for themselves. Mm-hmm. So therefore, we need to look at the deeper issues. There are many, many issues that will contribute to the issues that we are facing in this country. And it has to be done holistically. What we try to do is to patch little things that raise us head. We patch that. But we don't have a vision for where we want to see Trinidad and Tobago. We don't have an overarching vision at all sectors. And if we don't have healthy people, then we cannot have a healthy nation. And that means mentally, decision-making, and in every aspect.
Thank you ever so much, Lorraine, because you've raised tremendous issues. And you just talked about the holistic approach to our country. And I know you in the area of tourism. So can we have a little conversation now about tourism?
Sure, we can. What would you like to know? Because if I start, I might not stop. Well, you said you know me in tourism and you didn't know me as an original pain therapist. So let me just clarify that. I have been an original pain therapist for over 30 years. Okay, that is my career. That is what I love. First and foremost, yes. I'll give up anything else but that. My husband was very involved in tourism. And because I was in the banking sector at the time and involved in the legal department, I was asked to come in when the association was being formed to help them at the time to develop this association, the rules, the regulations, and so on. So that I did. But of course, being a people-centric industry, tourism, it piqued my interest, and I got captured because, as you know, counseling is also about people. And then, of course, that little tug that is your husband's business, so you had to get involved, So people knew me more and more from that area. But tourism in itself is a very critical area because it can contribute so much to Trinidad and Tobago. But however, we don't understand what tourism is. We don't understand. We think it's hotels. We just voted about building 2 more hotels, 2 Hiltons. That ain't gonna bring people here. That is not going to bring people here. Tourism is an intangible export product, which means that we have to do marketing to create that pull factor for people to want to come to Trinidad. Why would people want to come to Trinidad? It has to be, you have to have access information on the country at a touch of a computer, whatever it is. You have to be able to book properly and quickly to get to the destination. When you reach, you need to feel welcome. That means that from entering to departing, you have to have trained the personnel delivering the product. That is immigration, etc., etc. taxi drivers. You can't have a taxi driver picking up somebody at the airport and tell them, boy, if you know what happened last week, this man get killed and they chop off his hands. You can't have that kind of thing. Okay? The biggest deterrent to a destination is the level of crime. I am not personally going to travel to a country where my safety is not guaranteed. Now, you can't guarantee anything 100%. But if I am researching sites for an area to visit, and I see that Trinidad has so many murders, I see that people getting robbed in the streets, I see that you're going to a pharmacy and you're getting robbed, I see all these things, then for me, I have to be careful. Do I want to go to a country where I have to be looking over my back and I can't enjoy? Because the tourism is not about looking at a site and attraction. You can see that on the net. What tourism is about is the experience that we and the destination can create for the visitor. People will come here for an experience that is safe and that can get them, they can come in, enjoy themselves and depart in one piece. We don't have that yet. We don't have that. We're very far from that.
Mm-hmm. So what are your comments on this attempt to do another set of investments in hotels?
Waste of time. Somebody's going to be richer. Somebody's overseas bank account is going to be hefty, but it's not going to help. You see, when you have a Ministry of Tourism that wants to make decisions about tourism without having stakeholders at the table, you have a serious problem. You need to include the practitioners. You need to include the people who are delivering the product, the taxi drivers, the tour guides, the tour operators, the airlines. Everybody needs to be part of that process. And in tourism, you also need to understand that there are various other industries and other sectors that affect tourism very strongly. So you need to have an interministerial type of focus group that deals with tourism. It is not for the Minister of Tourism to sit in his office and make decisions and just put out these decisions and we just follow it. Because if he's not a practitioner, if he has no training in tourism, if he does not understand and he has not met with the tourism stakeholders, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
As an aside, I'll let you know, the current Minister of Tourism, I have not met him.
Yeah.
How long has he been there? How long has he been there?
Since about 2018. Since about 2018.
And I'm the president of an association, and other presidents will tell you the same thing. Because in his mind, tourism is culture. Tourism is the pan. Tourism is the wine and jam for carnival. Okay, that is what tourism is, because that's all I see them promoting. And that is not tourism. That is the cultural part of who we are. And we can use that to assist in the production of the tourism product, but it is not the tourism product. There are people who want to come here for eco. There are people who want to come here for sun, sand, and sea. They go to Tobago. There are people who want to come here for tarpon fishing. They come to Trinidad. There are people who want to come here to learn about our music. Yes, all these things can happen, but it has to be a holistic approach. And you know, when I saw that they had joined tourism with the culture and the arts, I saw one of the other presidents had stated in an article in the papers that he believes that the tourism fall off the map. It's culture and the arts. There's no tourism. And we also don't understand this downstream of tourism, the benefits of tourism. We wouldn't be boarding like 10,000 now if we had tourism, because we would be getting foreign exchange. We will be earning foreign exchange.
Yeah. But I think that we have not through how tourism can improve and impact positively on the country, because we have not developed what's our vision with regard to tourism. Do you know what our vision is with regard to tourism?
There's no vision. Is there any vision for Trinidad and Tobago right now, Dennise? I'll be quite frank. I don't understand what is the vision for tourism. I don't understand what is the vision for Trinidad and Tobago, because it has not been shared with us. Nobody knows what is the tourism. What is the vision? What we seem to be doing is in survival mode. We seem to be in survival mode, just getting from one day to the other, to the other, to the other, and hoping somehow that things will sort itself out. That's not going to help us. We need to have a government, and we need to have people in charge, and people with the vision, and people with the experience in the various areas that will be considered and will be listened to and respected for their purpose and their vision and their knowledge, so that we can put together the best of all and get the kind of vision that we want. What is our vision for developing the Chagaramas area? Is there a vision for developing the peninsula? Is there a vision? Is there a vision for developing our road network? Is there a vision, or are we just patching as they fall apart? What is our vision? We have no vision. And if you do, as they say, a man without a vision will perish. We will perish. We will fall by the wayside because we will not be able to measure if we have made any strides or if we have achieved any of the goals that we set ourselves. And we can have low for hanging fruit, and then you can have medium hanging fruit, and you can aim for the stars, but you must have the vision of what it is this whole picture you want to see at the end of it all.
And you're saying that picture at the end is not evident. It's not been shared with the community. It's not even been shared with the population. So then what do you see?
Share with you, Dennise? Have you seen anything? Let me ask you back. Have you seen?
No, I haven't seen anything. And I find it very interesting when you say that as a president, you have not been included or reached out to by a minister of tourism to have a conversation. So who are the stakeholders that he is interacting with? Are you aware?
I have absolutely no idea. Now you have the Ministry of Tourism and you have the Trinidad Tourism, TTL, okay? Tourism Trinidad Limited. Tourism Trinidad will call us when they need information to put out their packages. They'll call us if they have training going on after they have decided what the training is supposed to be. They will call us for those types of things, which are really irrelevant in moving the industry forward and ensuring livelihoods for the stakeholders. Okay, I think you all would have seen in the media quite a bit about the yachting sector, where we had a very powerful, strong yachting sector, but we run the people because it is so onerous on them with the immigration and so on, that these people have decided that they're going to Grenada and other places. It's only because of the last bad hurricane we had a few people come down here. But these people contribute so much to the sector, so much for fixing up their boats, the foods that they have to buy. They also go to the doctors, they go to the hairdressers, they do all those things when they come on land. And we did not see the value of having that sector. So we destroyed it. And one by one, we are destroying the various sectors of tourism sector.
I had a conversation with some people who own yachts and come to Trinidad, and they were saying that when the most recent hurricane hit, their boats were brought to Trinidad, but it took them 4 hours with the immigration in order to make sure that they have all their immigration papers. Now, if you're going to take 4 hours with immigration on people who are on yachts, then something is wrong with the system. And to me, yes, our systems just do not support people. And you're quite right when you say that yachting industry for a while in Trinidad was the ideal place to come by people who own a yacht and who are on the ocean. It was ideal because of all the things that they got. Now it's extremely difficult. So you're quite right. Other Caribbean countries have taken over from us. So the only time they're coming is when there's a hurricane.
Yeah. And you see, for us to position ourselves in tourism, we cannot tell ourselves that we are going against all the other Caribbean islands because they're far advanced to us, you know. I mean, I listened to the gentleman who is the Minister of Tourism. His name slips me now, in Jamaica, being interviewed on BBC last night. Brilliant. The man is thinking. The man has ideas. He can answer very difficult questions. I don't think we can answer basic questions here at that level. And unfortunately, we want to compare ourselves and say, okay, so Carnival is going to get so much thousands of people. I don't know how much people we're getting for Carnival. I don't know what is the difference in new arrivals between 2023 to 2024. I'm talking new arrivals because you're going to get the diaspora and you're going to get the people who may have come before who would like to come back. But we don't have any statistical data to help us to determine how we should market and who we should target, because we don't know if this product that we say that's so great, this panorama and this carnival, if that is really attracting the level of new visitors, because it is only through attracting new visitors that we are going to be able to say that we are improving or increasing in the tourism. The other thing too is conferences, for example. Do we have conferences here? Yes. And they're still important to have business conferences. But do we try to facilitate the conference and the event planner and the people who have chosen to come here? Do we try to work with them to ensure that we have the add-on of the opportunity for them to explore Trinidad? So when they come back, they can come back with their families and not just for business, but to enjoy the product that we have. We don't do those things. We just let things happen. There's
Lorraine,
no focus.
Reflect on, there was a time in which conferences was a focus of this country. Can you remember that we wanted to have?
I remember. Weren't you in tourism at that point in time?
Yes, I was.
When we had the bureau that dealt with conferences, that was a fantastic move. I don't know why it was thrown out. They threw it out, but there was the ability for the tourism Trinidad at the time to be able to match the conference providers with the facilitators here, as well as the operators and those who provide the tourism experience. And there was a matching, and that took place, but it just fell by the wayside. I think it was about maybe 2015. It fell by the wayside, somewhere around there.
2015. Well, 2016 is when it actually fell by the wayside. But it's the promotion of that and the growth of that occurred maybe around 2013, and we started to develop.
And it was doing very well.
But once the TDC was removed or destroyed or no longer a company, and we had to restart, then we lost everything that TDC had been involved in. And that, to me, is a big connection point with regard to the failure that we have in tourism. But Lorraine, you just said something.
Before you ask that, it's a failure in every single aspect of how we run this country, in every ministry. Because as fast as a new government comes in, they throw out the baby with the bathwater and they try again without having the institutional memory. And when you've had somebody who's been involved, for example, in tourism for 20 years or 15 years in Trinidad, you can't just throw that person out. They know all the ups and downs. You need to embrace those people. Yes, you want new vision, but you need to embrace the persons who have the institutional memory to be able to help us to move forward. And sorry for cutting you, but go ahead with your question now.
That's all right. But what has come to my mind is a statement that I have in mind from Barbados, who says the big difference between Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados is that when Barbados has the election, behave as if it's a relay. So they hand the baton from one to the other. In Trinidad, when Trinidad has an election, they start over the race. And we have so many examples of things that just have not worked. We've not completed schools, institutions, there are a whole set of things we've not done because we go back to, if you have the right contact, you will get the contract. So Lorraine, I just want to ask you a question. Our Minister of Tourism recently asked our citizens to travel abroad in order to appreciate how well our country is doing. What are your comments on that?
No, you want to put me in trouble. I believe that perhaps he should travel abroad to go to the tourism destinations and understand what is required for tourism. He should travel abroad. And I found it was a very disrespectful comment. It was disrespectful to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago because many of us have traveled abroad and we understand what is happening. If he's talking about the economy, it is his business to work with his cabinet members to ensure that the economy is what it's supposed to be for us, which we're not seeing either because of what is happening now with the foreign exchange crisis. So I would say that the minister probably needs to travel abroad and get steeped within the tourism sector and experience tourism in other countries for him to understand what is really required here. Because you see, when we promote Carnival as the be-all and end-all of tourism in Trinidad with the panorama and so on, and don't misunderstand me, I love my pan. I'm married to a pan man, okay? So I love my pan. But there are other countries that are catching up with us within the same Caribbean. For example, Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, these other carnivals are catching up with us, be it on smaller scales, but they are catching up with us because they have a vision of where they want to see that product positioned within their tourism product. We don't have that. So
But
we
even-
and we can't say that we are culturally so diverse. There are diverse cultures all over the world. People will travel for different reasons. Sorry.
And even when you think through carnival to me is disorganized. You know, for instance, if you want to hear pan, you have to be able to go to a pan yard like 11 o'clock in the night to hear them play a full tune. What you would be hearing is they're doing the practicing, they're learning it, and then they play 10 seconds of it or 30 seconds of it, and then they start over. So if you're a tourist and you come here, I mean, that's an experience, okay, but you would love to be able to have a structured approach to know, well, I can go on a Tuesday to this panyard and I will hear so-and-so. Or even in terms of the carnival and the mass, the way it is structured, you don't know which bands you're going to see. You don't. So we lack structures. How do you feel about that? Do you think we lack structures with regard to carnival?
Of course we do. I was the NCC chair in 2015.
Yes.
Okay. 2014 to 2015. Huge budget. I managed $300 million. Huge budget that went to 3 interest groups. But these interest groups want to operate as if they are law unto themselves and don't have the level of accountability that they should have. And one questions why, because money can disappear there too. But what I'm saying is that there's no holistic approach to this thing. So you have pan, you have mass, and what's the other one? Pan, mass, and?
Pan, mass, and I don't know what was the other one.
But the band leaders, the pan, and the music, Tuko. All right. So you have the 3 interest groups. Now, these interest groups, I don't know if they meet with each other now. It's something we had tried to do. I don't know if they collaborate with each other because you have to create a holistic type of product out of the carnival product. But when everybody wants to bat in their corner and be in their silos, you're not really creating that experience. There should be some kind of center where somebody can go. And tonight, if you decide to go tonight, you're going to hear calypso. If you decide to go tomorrow night, you're going to hear pan. If you decide to go the next night, you're going to see some costumes, how to make costumes and so on. We need to be creative and innovative and create situations where if we can't have it all in one place, there's a synergy where these providers are working together to provide the product. But you know what happens to us in this country? We're very territorial. We're extremely territorial. And therefore, you can't tell me what to do with my product. Okay, even though what you are suggesting may enhance my delivery of my product. And we are extremely territorial. And it shows in exactly what you said. A government leaves, a new one comes in, and every throw the baby with the bathwater. Unfortunately, we will not be as progressive as a country like Barbados, who knows how to hand the baton. And you're going to continue with the projects that would bring benefits to the people. Because in the end, what we're looking for is to bring benefits to the people. Now, tourism has a powerful downstream opportunities for people to earn income. You know that, Dennise, the different levels of employment that you can get out of the tourism product. It's not just the mass and the pan and the jumping up. It is not only that. It's all about all the other things. The people who can teach people how to cook, like a trainee. There's so many different areas that we could expand on. But if there is no vision, it's not going to happen. If we're not aiming for something, it's not going to happen.
You've raised the issue of the absence of vision at least about 4 times in this conversation. Yeah. You've talked about not having a national vision. You've talked about not having a vision with regard to the health sector and mental therapy. There isn't a vision with regard to carnival. There isn't a vision with regard to tourism. How can we transform this? Because our leaders are not doing it. So can the citizen transform that?
Well, the best way to do that is, one, to have proper public-private sector partnerships. And I don't mean by funding, okay? I mean engaging all participants. So if it is that the government is not doing it, then the private sector needs to do it and needs to start it. However, it's exactly what I told you. Everybody is very territorial. So everybody will want to lead the charge rather than come together and understand this is a cohesive, coordinated combination of ideas, and let us brainstorm and see how we can move forward. So we need to have that, be the catalyst for that and start. However, what I have noticed in the past when that was attempted, you would find it was being scuttled by certain persons in the powers that be because it was making them look bad rather than understanding, let me get involved here too now. So all of us can do this thing together and all of us can benefit. So you have that pull and tug, and that is the challenge that we have, because I don't know if you know, but the Hotel Association is no longer.
Yeah.
You had THRTA, you had the TOA, you had the Tour Guides Association, you had the Transport, you had all these various associations. Our association is still standing because we made a concerted decision that no matter what 2016 to now would bring for us, we would stay standing.
Yeah.
And we almost fell by the wayside because there was outside interference to try to destroy our association. But our people stood firm. And it means that even though we may not have as many members as we had in the past, we still have a core of membership that is carrying the association forward and making sure it's still viable and it's still there when things do ever turn around. Okay, but now we don't even have a hotel association. And that hotel association, the Hotel Tourism Association, there used to be synergies between the hotel association, the hoteliers, and the tour operators, and the tour guides, everybody. There was a synergy to create the product, but it's no longer there. So everybody's fighting to stay alive. And if you're fighting for survival, you can't fight for progress. It is as simple as that.
Lauren, it is so sad to hear that the Tourism and Hospitality Association no longer exists, because in our country, these are the things that will transform us, that will make a difference. So, Lorraine, as we bring this interview to an end, we just have a few more minutes. What would you suggest that we do to promote local tourism and create jobs within Trinidad and Tobago?
Local tourism. It's extremely difficult to promote local tourism. First and foremost, the sites and attractions need to be in a good state. The access to these sites and attractions need to be seamless. Not a river. You're not traveling on a river on the land. Potholes everywhere. Toilet facilities need to be installed in all of these destinations. You need to have lifeguards at the beaches to take care of people if anything happens. You have a lot going up into when people go hiking by the waterfalls. People tend to go hiking without a proper guide. So we have to educate people. You have to pay some money to hire a guide to go up in the waterfalls. But when you are struggling to put food on the table, you're not studying to find money to pay for tourism experience. You're not finding that. Therefore, government may need to subsidize or sponsor certain things to help our people to understand and to become more aware of the importance of tourism. For example, when you go to Barbados, every corner you see a sign. Tourism is everybody's business. Every corner you see a sign. And they facilitate that process, okay? So getting back to the question, we will need to be able to promote local tourism. We need to lift the economy a little bit, because people need to be able, if they pay $10 extra to go somewhere, they're not going to do it. They'll take an excursion. They won't take a tour. And a tour is a different thing to an excursion. An excursion is I get in a bus and I go from here to there. And when I get out there, I enjoy myself. A tour is from here to there. I am going to be educated on all the areas I'm passing through. I'm going to understand the culture and everything that has happened to create this. And therefore, I will come out at the end of it more educated about my destination. If that doesn't happen, we're not going to be able to promote local tourists, because local tourism, people think I can get into my car and I can just go to the site because I'm not going to pay.
So Lorraine, as we bring it to an end, here's something I want to ask you to do. What would you like people to remember from this conversation that we've had this morning?
That they need to get up and they need to demand what is required of them. What is required for them or the powers that be that run our country. We need to be more vocal. We need to get up and do. We can't be comatose and sit down and expect things to change. It's not going to change. You know, it come like I heard this through Amway. a man was asking another man, he said, why is that dog lying down there and groaning so? On a porch. The dog was lying down on the porch and groaning. And the person answered him and said, he's lying down on a nail. He said, well, why he don't get off the nail? Because it's not hurting him bad enough yet. So maybe we're not hurting bad enough yet. And we have to reach even further down for us to understand that if it's to be, it's up to me, up to each and every one of us. Each of us has to decide that we are going to do something to carry this country forward. And whatever our little sphere of influence is, we need to try to influence that in a positive way with the mindset that this is for the benefit of each and every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you ever so much, Lorraine Pouchet.
And you owe me an interview, because we ain't do my original pain therapy properly yet, so you owe me an interview.
Thank you very much. I'll be reaching out to Lorraine again. All the best. See you on Wednesday for Power Conversations. Goodbye.